I couldn't have said it better myself. We want to welcome you all here. It is TI 2017. Are we calling it TI 2017 or just TI7?
We'll call it whatever you want.
Because I know that they wanted to move over to the years, but we can put emphasis on the fact we're in 2017. But most of you should know that, because half the time you're referencing dated memes and you're questioning the relevance of them in 2017. But
this is true.
Yeah, you know.
But we're here.
We're here. OD Pixel and Fogged in 2017.
Game 1.
LUL. It is game 1, and this is going to be the best game. If you're watching the other streams, you've made a grave mistake. This is the stream to be on. We've got Liquid, we've got IGV. It's going to be all very hype. As we can see, the picks are coming through, and already we're getting some exciting stuff. Liquid opening up with the first pick, Shaker, which back at Dream. Were they doing this a couple of times at Dream League? They were picking Shaker up in the first 2, weren't they?
Yeah, Shaker's been growing more and more favorable amongst all the teams. Just that super consistent offlaner that always will get experience and just reliable stuns and disabling fights. Just makes team fighting pretty disastrous, and it's always that big initiator. So yeah, it's always a good start to have that for their arsenal. And I mean, Liquid really likes the hero. They grabbed the Nature's Prophet, which they also ran at Dream League recently. While we look at IGV, they're sticking to their guns. They ran the Shadow Shaman all throughout the qualifier. And the Earth Spirit's a bit of the change up, but at the same time, you know, we're like, okay, there's dogfights on that team, and that's one of his favorite heroes. So
yeah, he's probably, I guess he's, what would you say, the second best Earth Spirit in China? You imagine you have to put Bo2 at the top.
Him and Bo2 are very strong at that. Yeah. Him and Bo2 are probably those two, and then it's like, yeah, Tim's, like Jarax, Crit.
Yes, around
like
the world,
the big fives.
Sure, yeah.
Or the big 5 Earth Spirit players. So right away, we've already got kind of like mostly heroes that we've pretty much expected. I think Nature's Prophet and Earth Spirit, just, you know, those two are a little bit niche kind of heroes.
They're the kind of liquidy first.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the Shaman, that's something that I think we'll see a lot of teams doing, really. That's top tier support, early pick, isn't it now? Really?
Yeah. And we look at the bans already coming out. These are just literally targeted bans, so teams are not going to prioritize just strong heroes right now, just the heroes that the other team plays. So Io, Coddle makes perfect sense, banning out GH's heroes. Then they look at Matumba Man's Lone Druid, and of course the Miracle Invoker. Have to get rid of that.
Yeah, you do not want to play against it, especially when you already know there's going to be some great setup. You've got the Shaky, you've got the Prophet. I mean, you know, Prophet works with Invoker fantastically for numerous reasons. Just having that pushing potential, you know, buffing up some core with the Alacrity, the setup with the Sprout, the Sunstrikes, all very nasty. And yeah, as you hit the nail on the head, you got Miracle on the other side. You don't want to give it that sort of a chance. IGV getting the Darkseer. I mean, this is pretty strong. I feel for IGV getting themselves on the whole Darkseer Spirit combination.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be happy with this opening 3. But obviously, Liquid are having a lot of their favorites being banned out. We'll see what they grab here, but no one to be shaken off so far in this draft. It feels.
No, definitely not. Sticking with absolute comfort in July. Usually plays. For the most part, he has like 4 big heroes that he plays: the Tidehunter, the Darkseer, the Bat Rider, and I think it's like Centaur or something. I would say he's probably the most limited on his team in hero pool for that matter. So yeah, Darkseer or Spirit, they've got a good team fight already coming out once they get their levels, and they can pressure the safe lane quite hard already. That being said, though, they don't have a whole lot of information just yet. And now we've got a Wyvern pickup. Very nice and early.
Did we see this a couple of times in Dream League, or was it pretty much ignored? I can't remember. I don't know if Liquid themselves touched it, but I feel like we did see some of the teams dabble with it. But definitely not necessarily one of the supports that's always a go-to. Always pretty much picked in a you know, very situationally. And I guess you're looking at IGV's lineup, and what is it about that lineup that you feel that says, let's pick a Wyvern? Is it just have a bit of D-push, as you say, to get rid of this like Darkseer Shaman, you know, aggressiveness that they can do?
It gives them the D-push versus IGV's lineup. It also gives them some sustain for when they are pushing with the Nature's Prophet. You know, they can cold embrace somebody, keep push going. Makes Roche a hell of a lot easier, and it gives you your setup as well for Earthshaker too.
True, yeah. Great,
so you can just get a good curse down. You can have him just set up easily before that Blink Dagger does come online, or even afterwards. You curse, fissure, walk in, Great Echo Slime setup. Makes it a lot easier for yourself. And Winter Wyvern's a hero that has been buffed several times over the recent patches over the last months. And we saw a couple, like you said, at Dream League, I think 1 or 2. I know Sccc played it. But the buffs this hero has received, like the Arctic Burn, fly for 8 seconds now, Cold Embrace got buffed, so you get even more healing from it. I think this is going to be a big hero that we're going to see start rising in popularity once teams get used to playing it.
I mean, yeah, that's it. With Arctic Burn being as strong as it is it enough to... Can you sort of harass the Darkseer out of lane as a Wyvern? Because, I mean, Arctic Burn, I swear, like, you go into your lane, you see the offlaner, you pop it, you hit them, and you bring them down to half health normally with the amount of damage it does. It could be ridiculous early stages.
Yeah, it's It should be pretty good versus that, and it's also great for the laning phase. You know, if your safe lane get bullied too hard by the Ion Shells, you can always just cold embrace him, and you can just back up to the tower, etc. So IGV goes for the Sven.
I'm liking that.
Ooh, Wombo combo. They've got heavy disables coming out. Good. The Warcry's not really specifically great versus anything on Liquid.
The Warcry, I'd say is actually, I'd say it's pretty good. You got a Wyvern on.
Versus the curse, yeah. But there's no physical physical damage.
But you know what I mean. Once the Warcry's up, you got to be like, well, do I really want to ult it? But as you say, you probably still do because you got a follow up from the Shaker. But it definitely helps, you know, giving your team that armor when they're going to be hitting against each other potentially.
Yeah. If anyone's like later on stages, if anyone is cursed versus Sven, even if there's a Warcry, they're probably pretty dead.
Sure, that's true. Yeah. I mean, I still feel like that's probably what we're waiting to see from these last two picks. Some sort of big like damage dealing. Obviously, Miracle's hero still being the big one. As we assume what that is going to be a Matu Nation's Prophet, right?
I think we can leave it open, right?
You think
they did like play around with it a bit at Dream League. They were switching it up. It was a bit different.
I mean, would you rather see one? I mean, you've seen obviously the position one for IGV being the Sven.
Mm-hmm.
Did that kind of deter you away from playing a safe lane Nature's Prophet? And as you say, more likely to put him as mind control?
I would imagine. Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
Like GH Shaker is one of the big ones. I mean, of course they run it so much on MC, but GH has also had. I think he like rarely loses on the Earthshaker too. It's like those Earthshaker, Coddle, and IO. I think I only seen GH lose like 1 or 2 games in the last 3 months or something.
I mean, that's the thing. What GH is, he's also one of the boys on the run for the 10k, isn't he, at the moment?
Yep.
And there's the answer to what we're talking about. So that's going to be Matu's. Well, it could be a mid Necro, but with Liquid more than likely, unless they're going to reveal something new. Should be Matu's safe lane.
I love this pick with this. Like they already have so much push. They have a lot of sustain for it. Ghost Shroud versus Sven is absolutely incredible. He's a super tanky hero that suffers very hard versus Reaper Scythe. They don't have any save for the Reaper Scythe either. So
they do have one pick at least to think about trying to get some sort of a save. And what they still need their mid laner. I mean, here is that could be picked up. I mean, I'm looking at this and saying, what could they not just whip out a Paparazzi OD? You've got the save. You've got something that can kind of benefit from an enemy hero being cold embraced as you continue to rack up the stolen intelligence.
It could be OD, yeah. It could be one of those ones he's looking at. He played OD, DK, some Razor.
I'd like to see an OD. I mean, Razor as well, to be fair. That's another one that can benefit off the cold embrace, yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. There's definitely heroes like that. But
someone that can at least like do damage and at least like, be through while it's happening.
Yeah.
And mix damage, so they can actually not worry so much about cold embrace. IGV banning that anti-mage, dude. They're still feeling the threat.
Yeah, they watch Dream League. Yeah.
I mean, we had anti-mage every game.
You know, as we've said, as we've said, it could obviously be Matu Necro. He could go mid and Miracle could play safe line. They did do that at Dream League, having that switch around, and there we have it. So that's the Troll last.
Okay.
I mean, who's playing the Troll? Who's playing the Necro? We know that Miracle and Matu can switch it around, and Paparazzi, he's going to go for his classic.
Storm, the classic.
At the moment,
Cicada.
It's Cicada. Sorry, I'm waking up here still. So Cicada on
they swap around. Well, they do swap the roles.
They do. Still. That's what I'm thinking about.
Don't worry about it.
It's normally Paparazzi mid, right? Or is it?
It's hero dependent.
It is hero dependent.
It's very hero dependent for these guys. So it's Matu safe lane, Miracle mid,
Troll.
So they can put a lot of pressure onto that mid lane because there's always like the threat of Shaker Fissure, Nature's Prophet TPing in, and also Wyvern. With Troll Water, they have pretty good kill potential on Storm Spirit. So I think this is a lot on dogfights to make moves around the map and just read the moves.
The Troll pick to me is kind of interesting because I look at this lineup. It's not really a lineup that's going to benefit too much from Battle Trance, is it?
Well,
I guess obviously still nice.
Their lineup, I wouldn't say like their other heroes do, but their lineup does, right? Because they have the sustain and the push, right? Yeah. They win a team fight, battle trance, go, lose racks. Like the other team will lose racks so quickly versus that. All right, Owen.
We
got game 1 coming in here.
I'm looking forward to this. I mean, I say I don't think you could wish for sort of a better draft from IGV. It's super.
That is
classic IGV.
IGV versus Team Liquid right there.
This is like the stuff we saw IGV doing, like back at DAC or every time that they could. And Liquid's, I feel, is a little kind of new age Liquid. You know, we are seeing this Matu Necro coming through. You know, he's obviously played before.
Yeah.
But it's a little more 2017 than IGV's draft.
Yeah, I think it's like this is Liquid's comfort, but it's also they were looking at what IGV wanted to play, and they are like, okay, we'll start with our very comfortable heroes, the Earthshaker and Nature's Prophet, because it's very open-ended, and then once we get more information, we'll pick the Matu hero. And Necro versus Sven, it's pretty lovely.
Yeah, no, that is true. Yeah, you got this beefy hero that you've only got to worry about taking down so much. And as you said earlier, and they didn't pick anything to solve it, there is no save.
There is no save. If that Reaper Scythe gets off, until the BKB comes out, could have some trouble.
They do obviously have ways to target the Necro. You know, you're going to have a Storm Spirit and Cicada. We don't know necessarily what he's going to build, but if he does get an Orchid picked up, you've got that. You've got the pull from the Earth Spirit. You've got the disables from the Shaman. You've got a lot of ways in these fights to make sure that Matu doesn't have an easy time landing the Reaper Scythe.
Yeah. As long as they don't let this Earthshaker get like a good timing on their blink, that can be pretty good, because Liquid's only initiator is that Shaker. We look at IGV's, their initiator is really like the pseudo-initiation, the Earth Spirit and the Storm Spirit kind of going in at the same time, but it's not like a straight blink initiation, like setup, knock, lockdown. Unless Dogfights gets an early blink there.
You know what, I'd love to see this game. And I feel like we may even see it if the game goes on, because we are seeing players start to dabble with it. The Aghanim Storm Spirit would be pretty legit this game. Or would you say that's too overkill on kind of the pulling them in? Hey, the vacuum's enough.
You have a Sven, right?
Sven and Ag Storm Spirit, let's go. Bottom lane, I mean, look at this already. Paparazzi taking quite a beating here for the Treants as the pressure's put on from Mind Control.
That was just the threat of having the other two heroes kind of walking in. Just the Treants do so much damage. Even Sven, look how low Paparazzi got.
Yeah, straight down to half. He's having to regen up already.
Here he had to expend a Tango. They only have 2 Tangos on Shadow Shaman, 5 on Sven, and at least he has a Salve. But they are a little bit suffering on sustain in that lane. Dogfights, chilling around mid lane, scouting out Kuroki. The try mid by Liquid at the moment.
A lot of hate from Liquid indeed coming the way of Cicada's Storm Spirit. Mikura, as we're seeing, as you said, the Arctic Burn, fantastic for getting that harassment in from safety. There's a couple of hits on both of them.
If they give Miracle a good start in the mid lane, it's an absolute disaster for Stormster to get anything, except if he just goes jungle and kind of catches up with levels and Overload.
I'll tell you what, bottom lane as well, looks like Mind Control's doing a great job with the pressure he's putting on. You know, Super being brought down to half health, you know, Paparazzi's presence constantly being threatened. Mid lane, this block for GH, this is going to be first blood. Cicada, nowhere to run. First blood for Miracle, the tri-lane mid, as you say, it's working out perfectly. You get Miracle that strong start, you're going to be feeling pretty good as a team.
I've seen this before. The GH blocks on mid lane. I feel like it happens so often. This is also the nice thing about having a ranged hero like Necro, especially Necro actually, because you have the extra sustain too, versus a hero like Darkseer.
He loves this lane. I mean, he's not going to harass the Darkseer necessarily out, but he's going to feel no pressure at all.
Oh, he completely free farms, and he gives the liberty to supports to just do whatever the hell they want all over the map. And that's, look at that, Kuroki's now bottom, GH went back to base to heal, and now they're pressuring the safe lane even more.
I mean, Control, full free farm. Yeah, this is an absolute nasty lane for RGV. It certainly seems, you know, this first couple of minutes, Liquid just across the border having the stronger lanes.
Yeah.
RGV struggling with that pressure, and Mind Control just beating this Paparazzi's Fem right out of the lane. He's still getting some CS out of it, but Mind Control's getting just that little bit more.
They've literally expended all the regen in the bottom lane.
Shadow Shaman ran out of it. Oh yeah, you're
Shadow
right.
Shaman TP'd back as well to buy more. He only has the Mango. That's really painful already, because there's going to be phase boost coming up for MC very early in this one. And I think Liquid also probably recognizes that. They probably looked like Sven has no regen. My Control is definitely like the Sven has no regen. Keep the pressure on him, and we're just going to crush this lane so hard that the recovery method is going to be extremely difficult.
You know, Kuro's like, well, I've got Octi Burn back up. Let's go as soon as it's available. GH is there as well, ready to throw in a Fisher. Paparazzi just getting pressured right back behind the tower. And he really has to be careful.
Mid lane.
Only got a few tangos in mid lane. Again, the Earth Spirit Dogfight's trying to help out Cicada, but he gets taken down as Miracle and GH turn upon him. Cicada getting pressure back, does have a salve, but already Liquid making the moves, getting 2 kills in that middle lane.
Quick reaction by GH. He was walking bottom, and he literally just sees Miracle gets the. I think it may have been a timely bash on the Earth Spirit. Earth Spirit rolled in. He TP'd in. He got a perfect Fisher when he was low. Miracle able to clean that up.
And look at this top lane, pretty much exactly as you said. Matu, 16 for 3, perfect CS, and in July, he's only on 9 CS at the moment, so Matu doing a fantastic job of controlling this Necro versus Darkseer lane.
Yeah, it's a hard lane, because eventually Darkseer just runs out of sustain. You can't really keep your mana up, and while Necro, as long as you're last hitting properly, you're always going to be topped off.
Here we go, though. That's what IGV needed. They get themselves a bit of action. 3 of them coming on the bottom lane. Dogfights to join up with Super and Paparazzi. They do take down Mind Control.
I think they should just stick this tri-lane and just keep it there. Even though the pull was blocked by Mind Control, so they're splitting tri-lane experience, they have to make sure that their Sven gets farm. He's their big hero in the beginning of the game, and they don't really have any stacks for him going on yet either, so it's either sit in that bottom lane, make sure he gets the free farm, or make sure you at least have stacks on the map.
I mean, that kill was massive. You know, just getting Paparazzi a bit of a bump up back with the XP. We can see on the CS, he's still up there despite that early pressure. Has the 2 points to the cleaves, so now, you know, the Trin's a little less of a worry. Mid lane, though, again, GH coming in with the Fisher block. Cicada nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. A Miracle, 3 kills already at the 4 minutes mark, thanks to his team's rotations. And this mid lane being an absolute treat. In terms of kills, farm-wise though, despite the fact that Cicada's been taken down a couple of times, he's not far behind the troll at all in CS. 16 at the moment on him.
In CS, it's not so bad, but in net worth, it's already about 1,000. And 1,000 gold mid, yeah, Miracle's gonna... If he gets phase boots before this Storm gets boots, he has to just get out of mid. And oh my god, GH and KuroKy again.
Cicada's in trouble. Looks like they will try and punish dogfights as well with Mind Control TPing in. Miracle finishes off the Storm Spray on the backlines. GH, Mind Control and KuroKy claim the second. I mean, this mid lane is seeming to turn into a bit of a no-go zone for IG Vitality, as each and every time the rotations are just a step up from the side of Liquid.
We had our concerns, right, at the start of the draft, where like there's so many ways that Liquid can make those rotations to put pressure on the mid lane, and that is literally the nature of their game so far. They've not straight. They've pressured the safe lane a bit, but it's been mid lane, mid lane, mid lane. Miracle now with phase boots. I don't think Cicada can go back to that lane. I actually think he needs to pretty much just jungle. One fissure and you just get ran down with phase.
The great thing about IGV's draft, though, is it is a draft that's built for teaming up. You know, if they at least get to a certain point, they're going to have this strong wombo combo. Top lane, dogfights and Ninja teaming up, trying to take down Matuma Man. Nice smash there through the shroud. Place. He's just going to turn and nearly get the kill on Ninja Light still alive for the time being. Will pick up Matu, but KuroKy and Mind Control do punish the Darkseer in return. The block comes out from GH from the sidelines, and they pick up at second. They kill Matuma Man. They don't get the extended death with the Reaper Scythe not doing quite enough damage, but it does cost them 2 heroes. So Liquid, you know, even if they're not necessarily winning the trades, making sure that they are keeping and punishing IGV for the attempts on their safe lanes.
Yeah. If KuroKy actually had like a little bit more mana there, he would have had the Cold Embrace and potentially would have probably saved Matu. That could have been absolutely devastating. But yep, Cicada back to the mid lane. GH is just sitting there. He's just like, yep, if he steps even 1 step out of position, that's a kill. Yeah,
it's very close to that level 6, and obviously that's going to be when things get a lot easier for Cicada in this mid lane in terms of not going down.
But an Invis rune.
Oh my goodness.
He's about to be 6-2.
Oh no! Bash, no, you're right. He's not quite 6. Good boulder smash turnaround. Cicada there, he gets it. Beautifully done. Gets out in time. Does get sprouted up, but Mind Control can't quite get the damage through. As Super's there with the shackle. Holds back the Nature's Prophet. Miracle has cleaned up on the sidelines though. Gets the Earth Spirit kill. Now turning towards Super as they dive deep, but they've lost GH. There's going to be a TP coming through from Paparazzi. Liquid, they've got to get out of it, but there's Cicada waked in on the high ground, ready to look for Miracle. Has the welling access. The spin chance, the miss chance is not enough. That's going to be Troll falling down as well, as this time IGV the ones to come out on top. And it really was, as you say, as soon as Cicada hits that level 6, suddenly those mid lane ganks become a hell of a lot harder for Liquid.
He was just like, that creep needs to die. He was like 50 or 25 experience from getting that level 6 there. Perfect timing, and then of course it's 6 minutes. Shrine's back up, backs up, gets the Shrine. Good TP rotations.
Look at these chooks.
And yeah, Mind Control, just running circles, running dogfights.
Surely does he get out? Oh my, he gets out as well. Dogfights doesn't even go for the blind boulder smash. Maybe he should have, but they just get Mind Control with the ring around the rosy play. And the TP out. Oh right, yeah, that's gonna feel bad there for the Earth Spirit. That looked like a guaranteed kill, but the Mind Control jukes.
Who ended up getting the kill on Miracle. So it was Paparazzi. So that's actually quite nice because he is their strongest hero on the map. He gets a little bit of a kill streak. Yeah. He didn't really like do too much, and he walked in just through a stun, but it was the presence of the TP that thwarts Liquid's aggression. Mid lane, Miracle. Now they're trying to put more aggression.
See if he can get saved. He does have backup from Liquid. GH comes in with a Fisher. A nice silence there from Dogfights. Connects onto 2, allowing Cicada to zip forward, but KuroKy quick with the Cold Embrace. Keeps Miracle safe, and Cicada will simply have to use the remainder of his mana to zip back to safety. So, again, as we're seeing, obviously, at any time you can have the Wyvern on the team, there's always going to be the chance for these sort of saves. And KuroKy being KuroKy, you know he's going to be in the right place at the right time. And that in return does make it hard for IGV themselves to actually do something to Miracle aggressively.
Yeah, whenever they have that the Ion Shelled Earth Spirit, though, it's a lot easier for them to try to make that big aggressive play, because they lack a little bit of damage because of the axes. The Storm Spirit gets that miss rate, so they have to like pretty much make sure that Dogfights is Ion Shelled to go for those kills, and they're gonna go for it again actually on Miracle. It seems like Paparazzi set up. They do a smoke rotation.
It is tricky though.
It is a bit tricky, and Liquid wants to pressure something because they're like Sven is jungling or doing something while they give Shadow Shaman bottom lane experience completely. So this Shadow Shaman is going to get quite a lot of farm down here. Almost Arcane Boots in 6. Liquid's making the rotation.
And that's the thing with Sven as well. You know, once he gets that Mask of Madness treads, that's sort of the danger point where you're like, okay, you know that the Sven's going to get his farm there. Because he continues trying to make the stacks. The root might cause some issues though. I don't know if he's necessarily going to hit the timing because of that. Just gets it indeed. Top lane, might see a bit of action. Matuma Man coming back in to have a bit of a look in onto Injuly, and Super. Nice rotation from Mind Control, comes in with the Sprout to block off the Shadow Shaman, and Super in a bit of trouble here as he will be surrounding Matu. Does have the mana who wants to throw down that scythe, and there we have it, just in time, knocking the Shaman down for that good old 35 seconds.
That extra time helps a little bit. Sure, it's only, you know, that costs like 10 extra respawn time, but it is a Shadow Shaman who's 6. It delays them to maybe set up for a ward type of push. He also was about to buy Arcane Boots, but since he's the 5, he switches to Magic Wand. And now Miracle, with that first usage of Battle Trance, they're actually able to claim this full tier 1 mid lane.
I get a bit of pressure on the top as well with the Treants, but indeed, Miracle going from strength to strength. As we hit the 10-minute mark, we'll head over to the net worth. And indeed, we can really see there the difference between Miracle and Cicada start this game. 5k on the Troll, 2k ahead of the Storm Spirit 10-minute mark. That's quite the difference to have there.
That is brutal. And now with that mid tower taken out as well, they have access points now into the enemy jungle. They have that big mid area that they can walk in, and it makes it so IGV doesn't really have the greatest amount of places to farm. Whenever if they show somebody mid, I mean, there's just so much information you get from taking that kind of tower there. And they're able to get a ward, aggressive ward, to watch the Ancients as well, which is probably the most important thing. They see that triple stack, they may be able to contest it actually there in the area when Sven goes to clear it.
Paparazzi again, having to deal with the pressure of both Mind Control and Roki as they come into the lane. Smoke up from the two of them. IGV, Dogfights and Super were looking to move around for a bit of an action.
They're 6 as well.
But they have to be a little careful because Miracle's standing on a DD route. They're going to try for it though. And in fact, they get the steal as well. Very, very nicely done there. Dogfights takes the DD route, but it might not be enough even with the wards as Kuro comes in with the Cold Embrace save in July. Beautiful wall there. Clips onto the two of them, gets the vacuum, will finish off Miracle. Dogfights though is trapped up by the trees. He's trying to get himself away and he does. He'll escape. Paparazzi from the sidelines goes up to the high ground with the Stormhammer, but it's not enough damage. They'll try for the turnaround with the Reaper's side, but still not quite enough to bring Paparazzi down. The war cry as well. The armor, it's not enough to withstand the physical damage from Matu as 2 go down on both sides. Cicada tried to zip in, but he's now out of mana. Surely he doesn't get away, and he doesn't, as IGV fighting just a little too close to the safe spot of Liquid, and Liquid will manage to turn around that fight.
Liquid just a bit stronger, and also they have the liberty of that shrine, but also IGV had to expend so much to take out that Troll Warlord. They had to blow the Earth Spirit ultimate, all of his stones, as well as all the Shadow Shaman spells, and then they barely actually brought him down. They needed In July to come in for the cleanup. So Liquid, standing on their shrine, able to just have a bit more sustain there, and just having a bit more than IGV in that.
And as we saw, you know, Paparazzi turns up, but not really huge amounts of this Sven can do at this stage with just the mask and the treads and the level 1 god strength. He needs much more time, as we're seeing at the moment. You know, top 3 on the net worth, all clear to beat Liquid's 3 cores. Yeah, it's just going to be a catch-up game really for IGV with this Sven.
They have to just make sure they can get those Ancients cleared, but Liquid is literally warding all the Ancients. One just gets dewarded by Super, but they have eyes on the Ancients whenever they do want to get cleared. And now it's Roche, so now they can threaten those tier 1s even more, and then if they get all 3 tier 1s, that's where it's like they limit so much of IGV's actual farm chances.
They're going to try and look for this. I mean, Dogfights comes in, but immediately held back by the stun. Will try and bottle smash and roll out, and does manage to make the escape there. Some neat little play as he backs off. But you know, they've got the info that Liquid are in there, but very little they can do to contest this, as Liquid will claim Roshan, get the Aegis onto Miracle. So now this high-value Troll, even harder to take down. Very close to looking towards getting that Yasha done as well. On top of the phase, Vlad's is just went to the 13-minute mark. And overall 5k lead for the side of Liquid.
Mind Control top, looks like they're trying to get him. They should be able to here with the multiple rotations.
That's a big kill.
Yeah, they got it.
Very nice one to find indeed, and can't quite duke his way out of that one. Tried to sprout himself and hope for the best, but the attack was already flying through from Dogfights.
And the towers though, the objectives are the big thing, and Liquid is going from objective to objective with this high sustain, high push lineup.
They should have no trouble getting this tier 2 at all by the looks of it, as at the moment IGV no intentions of trying to contest them. They're just going to look for the trade. Super, Dogfights and Ninja Light up on the top lane.
You know, they kind of need to keep doing this farming kind of method thing, but now that triple Ancient's pretty much denied from Paparazzi entirely because Liquid took over their jungle, so he's missing out on that one. And Sven, you know, we talk about the Sven And it's a hero that you want to play ahead. When you're playing behind, you're super behind.
Yeah.
And he's only level 10, and it's almost 14 minutes, and he's 4th on net worth. So he's definitely not feeling good right now. He needs to find the road to recovery.
And in fact, they may even be able to defend this tier 1 up top, Liquid.
In the rotations in July.
Quick with the surge out. Mind control, not quite able to get the sprout. Even so, there's still the vacuum, so they still have ways to break out of it.
Miracle just walks in, and he's now just farming the Shadow Shaman wards. So a little bit more farm for him. They get the tower
to all of them as well, yeah.
They don't even get it to half. They're committing almost everybody up there.
Pretty painful for IGV in terms of big items. We've got in July nearly having the mech, so that'll be something when it comes to trying to form together the defenses. Cicada, of course, going straight for the Bloodstone. He's just under about halfway there at the moment.
Their team fight just has to. It looks like it has to go so perfect for IGV right now.
And I mean, and it can. That's the thing. Once Paparazzi has his Blink Dagger, I mean, ideally you probably want the Darkseer to have a blink for the initial setup with the vacuum. But definitely, just having that blink on the Sven, it's going to accelerate his farm, get him quicker around the map, and yeah, we can start to then expect IGV to have these wombo combos to try and put a stop to Liquid, just dominating the lanes, taking towers as they wish, as we see them grab themselves another tier 1 to go down. They're going to try and roll in onto Miracle. Does Miracle have backup? That's the question. I mean, Mind Control's quite far behind here. They will vacuum him back. They'll pop the A just once. The question is if they can kill him a second time. The rest of Liquid's on their way around. Matumba's there, and that presence is going to be enough to just cause IGV to play it safe. And that's the smart thing to do. They take the Aegis. That's good enough. You can't afford to play greedy in terms of overstaying your welcome in the fights if you're in IGV's position. You've got to play it safe.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, taking out the Aegis there lets them now plan for the next few minutes. Once they get that Sven Blink Dagger, it's going to be the big one to make aggressive plays. How he's doing on Matu. Almost Radiance finished up, so that's going to be a pretty fast Midas Radiance coming up for him. So he's going to be that scaling core, since they only really have... I mean, you can count, of course, Nature's Prophet as also a core, but they have like this weird kind of pseudo-cores, right? Like Nature's Prophet, Necro. They scale, but they're different the way that they scale.
Yeah, absolutely. They're not your traditional hard carry farming such cores. But I mean, that Radiance is also going to, of course, cause issues for IGV lineup. As we've said, they want to go for this wombo, but if the blinks on the Sven and eventually the blink on the Darkseer are going to be constantly cancelled by Matu's presence on the front lines, it's going to make it a lot harder for them to find that jump.
Yeah, IGV smoked up. They're looking to make a play with that reveal of the blink. But
look who's behind them. It's only GH with an Invis rune.
Oh, no
I mean,
way.
It couldn't be any better for Liquid here, as GH just waltzes in, cancels the smoke, and now IGV kind of getting pulled apart. Paparazzi will put the God Strength, jumps forward, look at what's Mind Control, but GH gets off the Echo Slam in time. Doesn't matter though in terms of Mind Control's life, he will still go down. Miracle tries to come forward, gets shackled, the vacuum wall connecting onto two, they'll drop down the walls, they don't quite have the follow through lockdown to hold GH and Miracle in place, so Liquid will get themselves away from that wall placement, jump back in from Paparazzi, zipping from Cicada, they catch out Kuro on the Wyvern, and they're not done yet indeed. They've got the silence out onto Matu, they'll take themselves a third. So despite ults being thrown left, right and center, we really saw the blink from Paparazzi come into play there as he was able to set up for sort of 2 attempts on the lives of Liquid. And then indeed Cicada turning up just at the right time. They turn it into a tier 1 push. Not necessarily the perfect execution of a wombo combo, but as a team fight goes, IGV really clean there with their execution and getting in and out at the right time with the course.
It was just perfect movement. Liquid had no idea that everyone was there. GH broke the smoke on 1 or 2, and you saw the Nature's Prophet TPing in, but then they were like, oh my god, it's a trap. Like, we just TP'd into 4 heroes. Then Rasta Wards cut off Miracle. The Rasta Wards and the Darkseer wall pretty much cut the aggression off from Liquid to make it to that other side of the fight, and then Kuroki gets isolated. And when Kuroki gets isolated, that's like, you don't want to take a fight when Echo Slam is down and your other support already has lost their life. So that was definitely a big play there for IGV, but Liquid just not expecting it. However, now, GH is about to have that Blink Dagger. That's going to definitely throw a bit of a hatchet into the works.
Yeah, absolutely. GH being GH. Can certainly expect these team fights to be a little stickier for IGV. Paparazzi for the Halberd next. Still a bit of a way from it. He's nearly got the sandwich done. And that extra bit of tank and obviously great with the Sven.
Almost the Greaves for in July. So he should be able to remove that Orchid Silence from Nature's Prophet. I think Mike Troll just picked it up, so that'll be nice for him. Also, that increased armor versus Troll Warlord should be pretty good for his team. Once he gets that Blink Dagger, that's where it becomes a lot easier for IGV just to take fights wherever they really want. It's just it's all going to be about the vision games in these. So I want to see My Control actually using his trains a lot to scout. I know he's one of the players that does do that a lot. So I want to see a couple of those just walking around like throughout the jungle and stuff, just to get some more information, because that's definitely what caught them off guard, is IGV just smoking up and them having no idea that everyone was there. So maybe some deep wards if they can get in there. Possible for Liquid.
Yeah, we've got the Bloodstone now finished on Cicada, so this is
another smoke.
Another time to go, and yeah, absolutely. Here we have it. IGV, the movement. They get the catch.
They might be able to find somebody here. In July is forcing the lane out, so they're going to smoke actually ahead of the lane, which is something that most teams don't really like to do. I know Wings was a big team that used to do this. They smoke way ahead of the lane, and then they meet up in a different area.
If they get vision on Matu and Kuroki, this could be the perfect jump, and there we have it, beautifully done. You know, straight away, the stun's there onto the Wyvern. There's going to be no chance of any sort of saves, and they clean up both of them. Yeah, IGV are really now turning the game on its head, putting the pressure onto Liquid, and Liquid, they've got to be so careful with how they walk around this map, because IGV, as we've seen there, they just go around as a party and they take you down. It doesn't matter if you've got a Wyvern or not, he's not going to get the chance to do any sort of save.
Yeah, getting that quick ward up, and I actually really love that smoke. That's one that you don't really expect. Sure, there's that objective there, the tier 1, that might be the one indicator for Liquid, that, you know, you see the Darkseer forcing it in, you don't see anything else on the map, something could be up, but it's the way that IGV smoked ahead instead of smoking like behind or like adjacent to him. They smoked way ahead of him, and it was like the fight wasn't set up around the tower yet. Liquid did not expect that at all.
Getting a decent amount of damage down here as they'll leave the walls to do the work. GH and Kuroki will be able to clean up some of them on the way out. Down about that.
That's great for Cicada there, getting those 2 extra Bloodstone charges.
Now the net worth graph really starting to even back up, as we can see now. Just less than a 1k lead for Liquid. IGV really being able to turn things around, these movements. Paparazzi in a very healthy place now in regards to farm. Pretty much neck and neck with Matsumamat. Only 1,000 behind Miracle. Yeah. And Sven being Sven, we can definitely expect to see, you know, him take the lead if the game continues at this pace.
Yeah, he's on his way up there. And Halberd is going to be super useful versus the Troll Warlord. That's having evasion versus Troll early on actually makes it so hard for him to play around.
Yeah,
evasion and of course the disarm. Of course, yeah.
Both aspects, yeah, very strong against. I mean, yeah, not just him, but the lineup as a whole.
And then once Paparazzi actually gets that level 20, if he chooses to go for the evasion as well, that can be pretty devastating to have, you know, Liquid's one big physical damage there, have to be forced into an MKB or something along those lines. They are smoked up now, though. They have a little bit of a vision advantage, but they're afraid. They're afraid of IGV's big wombo combo team fight.
Absolutely, and understandably so. They do not want to waltz up to this shrine, as IGV, they're on the high ground ready for this. The Liquid are still sticking around, though. It's going to be about who gets the jump. There's dogfights. That's not a bad way to start. They're getting the eyes onto GH, so he's not going to be able to get the jump in. Here comes Paparazzi, but already they've lost Cicada. Miracle with the BKB reveal, ready to turn and fight. GH falling low. The Greaves to pop by in July. Cold Embrace comes in from Kuroki to save GH, and it is Liquid's fight to take so far. They've already picked up 2. Paparazzi with the war cry, starting to back up, but Miracle and Matsumaman are hot on the chase. There's GH with the Fisher, jump forward, catching out in July. Not quite enough damage to finish him off at the moment, but the rest of Liquid, they turn towards the bigger kill. They get Paparazzi. Super, with a cheeky zap, does manage to punish Kuroki, but IGV, they've lost 3. Super, he's going to try and run away from this one. We'll see if Miracle continues to look to chase. It looks like Super is going to be able to get himself back in time, but that fight, things really being turned around, even though it looked as if it could have been okay for IGV, getting that sort of jump onto GH and making sure he doesn't have to blink echo. But just the team as a whole, Matu's Radiance, Miracle's BKB, those sort of items, just having those at the 22-minute mark, making all the difference in these team fights.
Yeah, the Orchid, like all these small little items, the BKB, the Orchid, and then of course the Radiance as well. Actually, the damage ticks. It actually can't. I think it canceled the Sven blink at the end. He was trying to go for a Kuro, but in the midst of the team fight, you said, he gets a good jump on Earthshaker. Storm Spirit tries to go on the other side of the fight, and he just gets instantly Reaper Sight the Orchid and just dies. And then from there, the fight becomes really difficult for the Sven. Remember, like, it is a Sven who's playing versus a Nature's Prophet and a Cold Embrace, so you do get kited pretty naturally. He does have Quelling Blade, but it's still kind of tough to get into those midst of the fray. I
mean, after seeing that fight as well, do you not kind of look at Cicada and say, well, isn't this just a great game to try and get that Lincoln's done? You need to have that some sort of save, or do you kind of understand why he is still just saying, I've got to get that Orchid. I've got to be able to do something aggressive myself. Or would you not like to have seen more survivability from the Storm?
think Orchid into BKB could be decent this game. Like he needs something to deal with those setups. Like BKB, I think Lincoln's could be okay because there's not really that many targeted spells.
There's not a lot to pop it, you know what I mean?
Reaper, and what, like the... I guess you could use Wrath of Nature or Splinter Blast to break it, but yeah, those are the harder ones to actually target on him. So I think, yeah, Lincoln's BKB is definitely safe, but having the Orchid is like, that's your timing, right? You need to have your Orchid and your Orchid Bloodstone by like the 28-30 minute mark, or you're in a pretty bad spot as a Storm. So yeah, he has it Orchid queued up into the BKB. I think the magic immunity is going to be very crucial versus the Earthshaker and versus the Necro.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing. You know, Necro is definitely one of those heroes that, I mean, does he ever really build anything that can remove a silence? I mean, Greaves is unlikely, really, especially on sort of a safe lane Necro now. And you don't really want to be getting BKB on this hero, and you're definitely not building Manta Star.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the Orchid on Storm is just great versus whenever you can get into the back line, right? If you get, because they have so many jumpers, like we mentioned, if they can get into the back line, they can disable the curse, they just completely remove Kuroki from the fight, then they can go for the other ones. It's just great to have like that kind of double disable method from Storm Spirit. Pull one, Orchid another one, you're able to do a lot of damage in team fights with that. Liquid now, all making their move down bottom. They're smoked up. They're looking to get extremely aggressive here on the high ground.
They're ready to go in by the looks of it. And there we have it. Jump away straight away with the Echo Slam. And there we have it again. Straight down with the Reaper's side. That's Cicada immediately out of the fight. Miracle pots the BKB. There's an attempt for the combo here from Injalizer. Comes in with a vacuum wall. There was no initial follow-up from Paparazzi as he's not quite back. Now he's around in the neighborhood. But already, IGV, they've lost two. Liquid are going to stand their ground, continue to pummel into this tower. Jump forward from Matuma as he forces back Super on the Shaman, and the space is being made here as they just continue to push. Vacuum is going to be back up in 6 seconds, and that almost certainly is going to be when they try for another play, but we can see already Liquid split up nicely, very well prepared for that sort of attempt. And there we have Fisher onto the Shaman. They put the Warcry. Injali really wanting to try and go for a jump for this setup, but they just can't get themselves in at all. They're just going to lose the melee racks, and IGV unable to really dig their teeth into this push from Liquid, being 2 members down.
That was really nice. They saw the Shadow Shaman like split pushing top, he drops the wards, they make that smoke rotation bottom, they see the jump on Storm, they do not hesitate whatsoever. They blow the Reaper's sight, they use everything possible to take him out. And yeah, clean racks.
Yeah. And to be, I mentioned with the Necro, I was like, maybe you don't necessarily want to be building that BKB, but Matu does indeed see that Orchid threat as big as such that he is going to build the BKB. And I guess it's understandable with the amount of silences and disables they have. And as we've seen, if he can get the Reaper Scythe out, they will win that fight. I mean, he's not going to get it out this time as he just gets straight jumped on there by the full lineup of IGV as they come storming ahead. Into the territory of Liquid. I guess Matu probably just didn't expect that sort of movement to come out that quickly after Liquid taking that bottom lane, and in fact this is a brilliant play from IGV. They get that kill, immediately move into the pit with the wards, and certainly making the best out of a bad situation in terms of losing that bottom Raxes.
Yeah, they're
killing the core and taking the Roche. You're not even too mad about that trade.
Yep, I mean, it's the best Aegis holder in the game. Storm Spirit gonna have Orchid finished up. Paparazzi also gonna get that BKB timing, and that's huge for them to really take those fights versus Liquid. That was, definitely the perfect smoke coming out. Liquid just definitely not expecting that one again. So far, IGV's had, what, 3 successful smokes that Liquid has not really expected in that kind of manner, so definitely props to them for having good read on the map and understanding where they want to take those fights.
And as you said, not only the BKB arms fan, but he's very close to having that level 18, that third point God Strength making all the difference. He's got the cheese in his pocket. Yeah, IGV, not wants to be shaken after losing a melee Rax. Just playing it cool. I mean, I guess in retrospect, they didn't jump in because they're already looking at the longer game. They're like, let's just let this go. We know we can go for this sort of aggressive play and turn it into a Roche take. Very nicely done from there, but still, overall, obviously with those racks going down, Liquid do hold the slight lead. Still only very slight. They're 3k at 28 minutes in. Definitely still anyone's game.
Yeah, it's really been coming down to just initiations and the way the fight's taken, like from which angles. Kuroki's been overall like he's standing in a good place, but it's very hard to play Winter Wyvern in these type of games. Like versus Storm Spirit versus Earth Spirit, just so many ways to get on you, so you have to be really careful of your positioning. And like you see, he went for the max Cold Embrace build and the max Splinter Blast build. So deep push and sustain, as we kind of expected, not just that constant harass with Arctic Burn. Although Arctic Burn does feel pretty good once you start skilling it up now, when you have the 8-second flight duration and 20-second cooldown now. So, mind control, BKB as well. I don't want to worry about that. They pretty much all need BKBs on Liquid because, yeah, well, I mean, you're playing versus Earth Spirit, Darkseer.
Yeah, you
just so
really
many
do. Yeah.
magnetized spreads on you, and he pulls a Geo Grip. You can all just get silenced, and it can be pretty devastating for the team fight.
Definitely potentially gonna be an issue once those BKB durations start to run low. You know what I mean? And kind of looking at it as well, I feel with the heroes, this is a game that, you know, Liquid don't want to push their luck too late with this one, surely, because of that wombo and because of having this late game threat of, if you get caught out, this Sven will take you down in a couple of hits in a combo.
Yeah, they definitely don't want. If they take it too late, it can be. Yeah, I mean, they have a Necro, Nature's Prophet, Troll Warlord versus Storm Sven. Storm can just zip into the back lines and cause so much havoc. That being said, though, Liquid, if they get super farmed in their Paparazzi mid.
They are going to jump in. Reaper's Scythe comes in a little bit early, and Paparazzi just able to BKB. Now they look for the turn. Cicada zipping in straight away. They'll clean up Matumaman, who's left behind by the rest of his team, and Paparazzi just jumps in 2 hits, takes down another. The Wyverns have fallen. They're not done yet. They were chasing for more, seeing if they could get anything else, though. But the Liquid were able to get the other 3 out of there. But I really feel this is starting to get to the point where, you know, Liquid, despite having a great laning stage, despite taking that bottom racks in relatively good time, maybe it wasn't enough against IGV's lineup. Now they're really starting to hit their strides at this 30-minute mid-game point. They've got the combo. Paparazzi has more than caught up with the way he's built with that farm, with the Mask of Madness and the Blink Dagger, getting himself into position, getting himself around the camps.
Yeah.
And as we saw that, they pretty much blew everything on him at the start, Reaper Scythe and all, and it only took him down to about half health.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. We've seen Liquid run the Necro Strat before, and they usually have these very burst-heavy heroes, so they can just drop the Reaper, and then while the Reaper's kind of happening, they nuke him down and blow him up. But you know, we're talking about a Sven here this time around with the Halberd. It's a lot harder to just be able to burst down like that. But yeah, it's definitely looking troublesome, especially with, you know, that second Roche, the Cheese, the Aegis. It's a lot harder for Liquid to kind of just take small little type of engagements because they're going to be outnumbered for the most part. Yeah. It's looking like IGV's going to be pretty strong for the next 10 minutes or so, especially with that gem that was picked up as well. They know where the vision is from Liquid, I'm pretty sure, from that last fight, and we do see a circle being drawn around the ward that they do have in mid, so they did catch a glimpse of that one, and with that gem they can deal with the Glimmer Cape that has come out from the Winter Wyvern, Kuroki.
You'll see from Miracle as well, he's got full in on the stat build this game, so after working through the diffusion on the SMY, next up looking at that, getting that Skadi out. I mean, I guess obviously having that extra bit of kite and control through the BKB at the Sven is nice, and having that amount of beef yourself means that if you do get caught out of the combo, you're likely to be able to live through it and get the chance to, you know, just still pop out the whirling axes and have a punch back. But nonetheless, I really feel like, yeah, this Sven is certainly going to look to become more of an issue than this Troll is. But happens here, but in the GV's jungle, IGV heading that way down, but Liquid just on the outside of their vision.
They don't want to take like a head-on fight still. I mean, Aegis and Cheese is still
hard.
online.
They are sticking around, but as you said, this could become a bit of an issue for Liquid if they get jumped on themselves. Liquid getting very aggressive.
Aegis is getting
that was the time.
Yep.
There, they were looking for that time. There's the Aegis gone. Immediately they jump in. They'll take down the Darkseer. Paparazzi getting bashed up, but there's the Shackle control onto Kuro. Wyvern's down. Now the rest of Liquid starting to get themselves out of there. A little bit of panic coming from Liquid as the courier itself is sent in as well. Taken down, and they're not done yet, IGV. The Boulder Smash comes in. They've got the control onto Miracle, getting cleaved down by Paparazzi. GH, there's no escape for the Shaker as well. He'll try and hold Cicada back with the... Maybe it's not all, but Cicada, he's hunting, and he's finding and killing. GH down as well. The rest of the team managed to get mind control further up the lane. And as you said, I mean, we saw what they were waiting for. They were waiting for that Aegis timeout, but just a little bit of a desperation play from Liquid, and you can't afford to do that against IGV now. The IGV, they're just too damn big and beefy. It's getting to the point where I don't know how they kill this Sven. As we've seen, even with ults committed, they can't bring Paparazzi down before he gets the chance to put that BKB in and get the disarm out onto Miracle.
Yeah, they used everything. They blew up in July Darkseer, but then Cicada comes in through the back, silences Kuroki, and then Kuroki just dies without able to really commit anything into the fight. In July just buys back because of where the fight is taken. He can just walk back in. And I'm pretty sure, I actually didn't see in the fight recap, but I'm like 90% sure Paparazzi actually passed his cheese off to Cicada mid-fight. Okay. So Cicada full healed his mana and just kept going in that engagement. That's what we saw. Because I saw Cicada with 0 mana and then he just surged up to almost like half or even more than that. So And Mo2 just goes
jumping in with this BKB, but he's not going to get the chance to repos anyone here. IGV, they're too high in terms of health. GH jumping forward as well, trying to catch on, popping the dust. He has got the Venom Super, but Cicada just comes back in with the BKB, zips forward with the setup from Super, takes down GH. Up on the high ground, they will lose Paparazzi. So mass TP is coming through to the shrine to cut him off, do get the big kill for Liquid. So if they can get anything more, though, they're looking to chase down Super. They've got the slow from the Shroud. Mind controls there with the wraparound. Pops out the dust. The Glimmer Cape, not enough to save the Shaman. So Liquid are able to hit back, get that double, get that massive kill on Paparazzi. That really is the big one to write about, as IGV with that sort of backing up. It looks like they sort of kind of just forgot about the Shrine. You know, TPs came through for Liquid. Paparazzi was blocked in. He's now down for 45. Doesn't have a buyback. Liquid may be able to get away with pushing another set of racks here.
There is the glyph, but the, Battle Trance can make it look non-existent if they do it at the right time.
Oh, and look at that. He zipped in. Cicada, his BKB is still on cooldown. He has to be careful. We'll be able to get back to the Shrine. Has to be very wary with these, what? He's got about 23 seconds until that BKB is back up, where he can't really afford to go that aggressive here. Jumping from July. Oh, there's a bit of a one-by, but no mind control. Very quick with the BKB. Miracle turns around, gets the instant bash on the Earth Spirit, and Liquid, despite the wall and the combo being dropped down, they're able to keep the push going, get a second set of melee racks. Now they're looking for the retreat. Dogfights, he's there with the boulder smash, but still with this time with no Paparazzi Sven, there's not really enough damage from IGV to just blow someone up. Cicada zips forward, but they can't fight without this Sven. Matuma Man with a BKB pop starts to force them back. Cicada's trying to finish off the killer. Now Paparazzi turns up. He's back in the game, comes forward, gets the Wyvern, the Reaper Scythe drop, not enough to kill Cicada. Matuma Man jumps forward though, tries to bring him down, and in fact, they got the kill. Mind control got him with the soul burn from the Orchid damage. Cicada will buy back. They're desperate to try and keep this fight going, IGV. Paparazzi cuts down GH. Mind control go for the TP out, but Cicada's there, back in time with the Vortex after he buys back for this one. IGV do end up getting some kills at the end of it all, but it cost them 2 buybacks. They still lost the melee racks. We'll see how much they can do with this time, but Liquid themselves, mind control, and Kura shouldn't need it. They've got buybacks available. When the Shaker's back up, GH has still got Echo Slam in 25, and I don't think IGV are going to get too much done. Roshan, unfortunately for them, is not quite up yet. Maybe if that was there, they could go and take that very easily. They do have the wards available, but that timing's not going to be on their side. Yeah. So yeah, Liquid hitting really hard. I mean, it really just felt like IGV were trying to force it a little too early before Paparazzi came back. They really wanted to try and catch someone on the way up from Liquid, but maybe you got to ask themselves, should they have approached that the same way they approached the bottom lane, where they said, well, they're taking the racks, we don't want to start throwing bodies on them just to catch someone on the retreat.
They really didn't want to lose that Rex, though. I mean, the Battle Trance just makes it so easy for them to take in. Paparazzi actually bought a quarterstaff while he was dying in that top shrine, so that's why he didn't have buyback. So that was actually a pretty big mistake, actually, in my opinion, because losing that Rex, you're evened up your mid lane, and they were on a surge of momentum coming in.
Oh, now if they lose Paparazzi again,
this could be extremely devastating. They have the ward vision there. The rest of IGV is getting in the area, but
Paparazzi don't come up these stairs.
They are around.
Oh, they're coming in. There's GH coming in with a 2-man echo. They'll drop the Reapers down. Paparazzi getting bashed up. That's the Sven down for 80 seconds. Cicada tried to come in with a BKB, but he just couldn't do enough. They're going to lose a second as Super's locked down. The silence is there, and Liquid, they're chasing for more. In July, getting caught by the tip of the Fisher isn't quite enough for them to follow through for the kill, but it is enough to force IGV back. And it really feels like IGV are making some painful decisions here, and Liquid quick to capitalize upon it, get the big kills, go straight to Roshan. There's going to be no contest from Vitality for this Aegis and Cheese, and Liquid are really getting themselves back on top of this game.
Yeah, them losing, IGV losing themselves that gem in the last instances too, that really hurt them there, because then Liquid, after they take that mid-rax, they were able to put that nice vision up, and then after Paparazzi respawns, he's like, yeah, I want to go farm, I want to get my item up, and Liquid capitalized on that. They know exactly where he is. They 5-man smoke, set up for him waiting on the high ground, perfect initiation, and how convenient. Roche just spawned, so they're able to clean that up now too. Aegis and Cheese for Liquid, and now it's time for them to try to go for that high ground siege. This is their biggest time window. They've got now the Dagon as well finished up. BKBs are starting to tick down to their 5-second on Miracle. What's my control? 8, and Mo2 is 8. Sven's should be pretty low as well, down to 6. Storm is down to 7. So all the BKBs for the most part are starting to drop.
And as we've seen as well, as you were saying, Paparazzi really putting emphasis on trying to get this Bloodthorn done rather than holding on to any sort of resemblance of buyback gold. I mean, is it just the fact that they feel that they have to get these kills? There's no point having 2 lives on a Sven. I mean, I guess that's certainly true with the fact that Sven, he is relying on having that God Strength. And if he does die once, having the buyback, not having God Strength, maybe it doesn't make that much of a difference. You've just got to go all out with making sure you're fully kitted for that one attempt.
Now, yeah. Now, especially when you're playing versus Aegis and Cheese and when your Storm still has buyback cooldown, you need to pretty much be that big. You need to have everything online for yourself rather than holding your buyback.
So
just with the God Strength.
Just kind of painful at this stage when you've got those 2 bits of the Bloodthorn, the Chrysalis and the Orchid, and you can't have both out. I mean, obviously, yeah, he was wanting to have the Orchid at his readiness, so Paparazzi can at least have a further silence to offer for the side. But here's the push, Miracle, a little bit of time left on Arteezy, getting a bit of a punch through. Well, actually will be sneakily forced forward there by Super.
Glyph will be back up in 1 second.
There we go again, but there's Matu, jump in, Reapers, Dagon, onto the Shaman. Not quite enough to kill him. Super's actually going to live through that, gets back to the shrine. So a good way for RGB to start. Oh, there's the attempt for the combo. GH will force out, but they've already lost one. Matsu getting chased down. The BKB not doing anything, of course, to save him from the physical damage from Paparazzi. Mind control, times to turn. GH comes back in with the Echo. The 3-man Fisher. Cicada still has enough mana to zip out. Miracle back in, working his way through Paparazzi, who's stuck in the trees, being well and truly Artoored. Jump forward from GH, he forces down, looking to lock this Paparazzi down, but the Halberd evasion being enough to get him back up to the high ground. Miracle trying to turn onto Injuly. Injuly not quite able to finish off Miracle. But IGV at the end of the day, they do hold the defense.
Paparazzi actually ends up living too. That was the Halberd into the Hex, into the Shackles. The Troll Warlord could not get like any attacks off. But oh look, Miracle goes top rune and finds a regen rune. So push will continue.
I mean, it's a big hold though. You know, Paparazzi now has got that gold. He's got that Bloodthorn complete. And as we saw then, you know, it was definitely the fact that you could see what they wanted to do. They wanted to try and take Super out before he got a chance to drop the wards.
Yep.
But it just wasn't quite enough. The maths didn't check out. Even with the Reaper side Dagon and such, they couldn't quite do it. Standing next to that shrine, Super easily regens back up.
Yep. He had a couple stick charges, the perfectly timed Glimmer Cape, and then the, I think it was the Guardian Greaves plus Shrine. Just ticked him just enough to not be bursted down from that Dagon Reaper Scythe combo. But I don't think Liquid's too disappointed with that. They forced a lot of aggression. They got tower down to... Oh, they actually didn't force the Glyph, though. They almost brought the tower down, but IGV actually held their Glyph.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty big.
Pretty substantial.
Yeah.
But, ooh, Liquid actually spots a DD rune bottom.
Again. They just have one up top.
It's the 40-minute mark
that's
now.
True.
So.
Yeah, it's runes for days. Here we go.
I loved Miracle's itemization this game. It's pretty standard, but having that early kind of diffusal is really good versus Sven.
And you like the choice for Scotty. Rather than anything sort of, as we said, maybe like an MKB because of the Halberd. You like the fact that he's just kind of built himself up and he said, well, you can have a little bit of evasion. I'm still going to be able to outwithstand you in the fights that are drawn out.
Yeah, I like that he can just... his concept in this game is he just has to stand toe-to-toe with the Sven and man-fight him. And this is the man-fight build. He has 2 things to slow the attack speed. He has the diffusal to burn off the Warcry as well, and then, of course, his naturally built-in bashes.
Here we go. Will be forced up to the high ground by Super again with his cheeky 4-star plays. Injuly jumps in, only gets the vacuum onto 1. Immediately has to put the BKB as he gets silenced up, surges himself away. Miracle just standing his ground, pummeling into the racks. The fortification will come through. Matsu jumping in, trying to zap down Paparazzi. Not nearly enough burst there to bring him down. There's GH coming in and catching 2 with the Echo Slam. Miracle trying to man-fight up against Dogfights. Will take it. Paparazzi gets the stun off in time. BKB as well. He's going to survive. Jumps forward. Gets the second. Picks up the double kill. And now the rest of Liquid. Miracle falling very low. The Hex coming out just in time to mind control. Trying to come back in. Miracle on this Troll Warlord. But it's not going to be enough as he'll lose the Aegis. Stun held onto mind control. Trying to force the Nature's Prophet back. Paparazzi trying to go for a round 2. But he has to be careful. Miracle back up with the second life. Takes down Paparazzi. That's Paparazzi down for 90 seconds. No Cicada as well. They don't have buyback. And even though Liquid lose the Aegis, they absolutely walk away with this fight. They clean up the top racks. They should be able to just go for Megas and maybe even the game. Is only Injuly and Super left alive. And indeed, it looks like it may all be falling apart for them here as they lose the Shaman. He will buy back. He's going to go and grab Miracle outside the fountain. They do have a vacuum. Maybe Injuly can drag Miracle into the base. Doesn't actually end up using it there. Wondered if he could try and go for a sneaky bit of a drag back and a block off.
But it's Megas.
It's not looking great. I mean, they've got the spam for the Megas, but they haven't got him for 50 seconds.
Liquid's trying to close this one out. Glyph is down.
They know that they can try and go for the collateral, and Miracle.
Storm's respawning right
there
now.
We have it. Oh, again, GX has been quick with these 4-stars. Gets himself out of the initial crux of the combo. Jump forward, mind control able to turn, take down one. He's now looking towards Injury. He's put the BKB, trying to run himself away, but the physical damage from mind control is pretty hefty. Cicada now getting chased and up. Zips up to the high ground just in time. Super jumping forward. Cicada, can he actually escape? The Fisher connects. Cicada only with a little bit of mana left to play. No mind control. Peeps him there with a Nature's Prophet play. Takes him down. There's the buyback though. Looking for Miracle. Will find the Troll Warlord 10 seconds before the Sven's back in. Can IGV well and truly hold this? No, they can't. By looks of it, Cicada trying for the TP out, but the fish is there. He's down for 100. Now the Sven's back, but Paparazzi's got no friends. Everyone's dead, and GG is called. Liquid taking game one at the end of it all. A bit of back and forthness from the sides. But it really felt that Liquid just played the cleaner game, and IGV making too many mistakes in that mid game.
A couple too many mistakes. They had some really cool smokes, really good plays coming out from them, but this is the IGV that we do see a lot, is that once it gets to those later stages, the mistakes do come out. So we'll see.
little as possible. Got a lot of games to play in this group stage, so definitely going to be seeing some overlapping drafts from lineups. But yeah, we'll see how they do. I'd love to see a bit of a difference, even though obviously Mind Control's Prophet was very strong last game. And
they take the Shadow Shaman.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, taking it away, as you say, from RGV, who picked it up. Well, they actually picked it first, didn't they? When they it was their first hero.
You know what's crazy?
Game 1.
This is throwback to Ti4. I think our Shaker and Shadow Shaman are going to become like the two big support heroes that we see coming out.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Like that was
definitely Shadow Shaman.
That was like
Shadow Shaman.
Ti4 was pretty much like every team was going for Shadow Shaman or Shaker at one point.
Yeah.
Because I think like some of the Chinese teams like started using it and everyone was like, yeah, this is just incredibly strong for the rotating, and they hit all the tickers that you want as your two supports. So now IGV goes for another one of their actually the most comfortable hero they play with, the In July Batrider.
Yeah, that's like his best, isn't it? That is
his
signature
best
hero.
Absolutely,
So,
yeah. Pressuring safe laner, more comfort, more team fight.
Was that banned out in the last game?
Don't think so, actually.
They just opted for. We're going for something with the Dark Serum. I mean, it's either the Dark Serum, but I think they're at a pretty similar level. That the In July can play the Dark Serum Batrider.
Yeah, I like his I like his Batrider a lot more.
You think it stands out a bit more?
Whenever I've seen him play the Dark Serum, I always feel like he struggles to get his first like 2 items. It takes him a little bit longer than most of the other players.
Sure,
he's like getting that mech timing. You know, it took him a little bit that last game.
Because it seemed like he's very set on sticking in the lane, even when it's a lane where he's not getting that much. Whereas you see a lot of other Dark Seers, they say screw that, and they instantly go at 3 levels in the side camps. But yeah, you're right. Last game we saw him pretty much try and stay in lane, but those first few minutes really didn't work out for him as he just fell behind in farm, and Matuma Man just took full control of that lane with the Necro.
Yeah. So Silencer ban, that one's a bit curious to me, but that is the combo, the Batrider Silencer. Yeah, you just lasso the global, they can't really like stop it at all. So that one, it kind of makes sense, but it's a little different because I guess they just don't want to play versus that with their style. The Lycan ban as well, it's a little bit different going along the lines, but
I mean, I wonder
hero that's rising.
If we do just see them pick up that Matu Necro again, I mean, are you still confident standing toe-to-toe against a bat lane, or is it a little trickier?
Definitely a lot trickier. Yeah, this I like better. This could be Matu's hero.
I think with Liquid, I want to say again, that's a team where they're more likely to run it safe lane than off lane, aren't they? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and he can use the time dilation always to mess with Batrider. It's just very strong.
Yeah, nice against the Earth Spirit as well. Yeah, a hero that's wanting to get out multitude of spells in those team fights. Yeah.
The Weaver Lone Druid ban, they're trying to ban out at least earlier they're trying to ban out the matchup specifically for In July. They don't want the Weaver to crush him. Same kind of concept with Lone Druid, they just leave him alone and Bat can suffer really hard versus that.
I mean, what you're saying, well, this matchup now, if it's going to be the Void against the Batrider, it's not perfect for the Void, right?
No, he needs help.
Yeah, you can certainly punish him.
He needs to have his support, at least one of the supports up there for the most part. They'll maybe just do like Kuroki sit top with the Shadow Shaman, GH just run around with Shaker. We still don't know exactly if this is the support Shaker either, so they're leaving that open-ended.
Sure. Yeah, it could certainly be a Mind Control Shaker. Oh, we'll see IGV if they want to stick with any of the same picks as last. They do have some similar ones. I mean, I still feel that the Sven is not necessarily a bad pick at all.
They really like their Jog. I wouldn't be too surprised if they grab that one. I mean, it's not great versus the Void because the Chrono still messes with everything, but it's good versus the Shaker, good versus Shadow Shaman. Omni Slash works very well with Batrider Lasso. You can instantly kill a target inside of the Lasso.
I just think having like a beefy core is super nice against Grind. Okay, so Death Prophet is going to be the pickup, something that was actually banned by Liquid in the last game.
It was, that's true.
They were aware that IGV likes to play this. And of course, I think, well, already there's just so many things that look great for the DP this game. Just having that AoE silence against the sort of play style that Liquid have going for these team fights.
Exactly that.
It totally destroys the Void. Void turns up to a fight and gets silenced before he has BKB or Manta, depending on which way he wants to go. There's just nothing to do. He could just try and turn and run, but by that time, it's a hero as well that it does not necessarily have the biggest of HP pools.
Yeah, honestly. Oh, and what am I here for? You're just like, that was perfect. That's true. The Death Prophet silence is definitely what they were looking for. Now they have multiple silences for the Void. With the Batrider Lasso, you lasso somebody in, the rest of the team kind of wants to walk up and take a fight. Like, you want to help your teammate that gets lassoed, but the Death Prophet can really throw a big turn then. All right, Invoker, Void.
Here we go, Miracle Invoker.
The big combos. We've got Sunstrike set up on the maps. All over the map, I mean, and this is...
It's a game where you're probably like, maybe we should have banned the Invoker. I mean, when did they ban it in the last game? It was like third or fourth ban, wasn't it? They did ban it in the second phase.
They banned it in the third phase, second phase.
So, Yeah, as you said, you know, as you mentioned, just trying to focus more on trying to get a good lane for the Batrider, which arguably they did, but it certainly could cost them in that mid lane. But I guess what DP versus Invoker, how does that go down? I mean, what DP should be safe enough to just push the waves back out with the swarm.
DP does fine in this, but however, you know, you always have to, like the GH Shaker always throws, like if he gets a block on the Death Prophet, that's where everything gets changed up. The pressure can come out. They do like to do that a lot. Invoker overall, he's not really great at the mid matchups. Once you get like level 3, when you're able to get either your Forge Spirit or your Alacrity up, depending on which build you want to do, you can start evening out, but you're still not the greatest laner. You can farm under your tower, but you have no way of pushing the lane out.
I like this as well.
Oracle.
Yeah, so I guess some sort of save in regards to the Chronosphere. And of course, super good with the Death Prophet.
It's very good with the Spirit Siphon and everything, and it's great to remove like the Hex, and they can remove like the Disables, of course, with the False Promise, but you know, you don't remove the guy from the Chrono. You're still stuck in that Chrono.
Sure, yeah, you're still going to start to build up the damage, yeah.
But right now, most of Liquid's damage is magical, although the Void has the physical, the Rise of the Shadow. The wards won't really be hitting someone in Chrono too much, and then the Sunstrike's the pure one. So at least they'll be able to negate a bit of that magic burst, but not crazy about the Oracle right now, to be honest.
Okay.
There is the synergy, though, with the Death Prophet, and maybe they do want something like a Jug, or maybe they wanted the Huskar.
Jug could be, as you said earlier. I mean, you know, as you said, your False Promise, it's great. You're going to keep them alive for some time. But if you False Promise someone and having a healing ward outside of the Chrono, that is just so much damage that you can negate. And there's, you know, every chance that you're going to be able to keep one of your heroes alive. So, could be expecting the Jug pick. We'll see how they want to fare. I mean, Sven is still there if they want to put Paparazzi on that yet again. You know, we did see him have a fairly good game in terms of farm. Just some of the late game decisions costing him, where he had a lot of time off the map at crucial moments when they needed him for the defense. We'll see. I mean, in terms of other safe laners, Troll is still there if they want to kind of pick a Troll for this lineup. Outbash the Basher of the Void. But they
do go for the Sven again. Okay.
I mean, it doesn't really surprise me. I mean, we've seen IGV. You know, last game we saw this draft was like, this is IGV. This is a team that very much has their comfort zone, and they don't really like to leave it. That they stick with their safety picks.
Yeah, I mean, the Warcry for pushing is great. They don't really have that extra sustain though. They only have the Oracle for sustain with Spirit Siphon, I guess, from the Death Prophet, but.
And I guess the Warcry is something as well you could argue is nice against the Chrono.
It's decent. Yeah.
Get it out before he jumps on you. If you're outside, just to have something to buff up your teammates and help him from the punches from Void.
Now we're gonna get to find out which position is this Earthshaker? Is it the GH?
Let's have a look.
Or is it the Mind Control? Or even where is this Void? I'm like 90% on this a Matu.
It's got to be a Matu. Yeah, I really feel that it has to be a Matu. But you're right. I think the Shaker is definitely the biggest question mark. I think I'd expect this to be Mind Control's hero. I mean, I guess you look at how many offlaners are banned out, maybe, and you say, what have we got to look at? And to be fair, not a lot of offlaners are banned out. There's a lot of options still there for the offlane. And a little less so with the supports, you know. Roaming around, Nyx, Night Stalker.
Someone usually sticks to their guns. I'm trying to think what...
Yeah.
I mean, really outside the box would be like a Tidehunter or something, but they haven't drafted that like at all.
What about like a Mind Control Legion? Extra bit of setup, a bit of save as well. I haven't seen that in a long
time either, yeah.
Get the Mind Control Legion out somewhere.
Maybe that is where they have to kind of throw the Shaker out there, because it's really limited for him now at this point.
Move the silence from the Void. Let's do it. Let's get some Mind Control Legion. Come on.
Maybe they do some double bubble. They grab some like Enigma.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Double bubble. I'm feeling that as well. That's very nice against the Sven.
Super good versus the Sven. Yeah, could be a possibility. Good versus the high ground siege.
There is the Earthspring and the Deep. They've got a lot of long distance silences that could be annoying, but definitely. You know, rush BKB blink as we've seen Enigma's doing. Yeah, definitely could be a chance. Going right down to the line here. What's it gonna be? The Veno. So it is going to be the offlane Void, I'd imagine. And Matu playing the safe lane Veno? No. It's going to be a Mind Control Veno. I don't think I've seen many teams do that. Have I seen any teams do that? Is that a thing that teams are doing?
I think I saw it once at Epicenter, I want to say. I definitely saw somebody run an offlane Veno. It was not successful.
Was it Na'Vi?
I don't
It might have been Na'Vi,
It may have been I just know it was not successful.
Okay. I mean, if anyone's going to make it successful, Mind Control is certainly going to be one of them. I mean, we'll see if they do so, because I feel like still it's more normal to obviously have a Matu playing a safe lane Veno and Mind Control to play off lane Void, but hey, it's Liquid. They pulled off game one pretty well. Let's see what they bring with this one.
It's obnoxious, right? Veno versus Batrider, that's a pretty annoying thing to always deal with, the wards hitting you.
Do you think that's what they're going to try and get in terms of laning? are they going to try and find that matchup and get a better lane for Matu? Because as you mentioned, the back could cause some issues. Could they do that? Could they try and switch the side lanes around?
It's definitely possible. Ideally, I would imagine they want the Void safe lane, and then maybe they just run these 2 supports running around.
Okay.
This is literally like a throwback to TI4 if that's the case, where they just have, all right, Earthshaker, Shadow Shaman, you guys just run around and get kills. We pretty much have 3 solo lanes, and you guys just go make stuff happen. I don't know. It's different. It's definitely a different approach by Liquid. That's nothing. That,
Yeah.
I think I saw them play Venomancer once at
And
Dream League.
who played it? It was Matu. Or did Miracle?
You know, let's like check that one.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment...
I mean, it was Matu, yeah. That was the Matu.
It was Matu, yeah, Matu
play.
played it at Dream League, didn't he? Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
So, I mean, they have played the hero, but now they're throwing it in the offlane.
Yeah, and there's indeed no swapping going on here.
So let's see.
Will indeed be a mind control offlane Venomancer this game.
I thought perhaps for a moment, maybe he goes for just straight jungle items and just jungles, but Radiant's not as good as Dire for that. However,
no, it's not, yeah, you're right.
He just goes boots.
Yeah,
right, so
he's ready to lane. And well, what's he expected to be up against? Obviously, Paparazzi is going to be there, and there's no doubt about it at all. You know, mind control is able to do his stuff in the lane. It's incredibly annoying to farm against as a fan.
Yeah, I guess maybe they're just going to try to super pressure this. Oh, Dogfight's is walking up into... This is a Gale Fissure combo.
Yeah, this is going to be messy. There's the Gale. They'll start to get the punches through. They'll block him off. I mean, he has got the roll, but there's no way he gets out of this one with the Shackle coming in. Miracle throwing down the It's a Gay Gay. It's Liquid claim themselves first blood. Always... I mean, there's always going to be the chance that happens, isn't it, if you're a support coming up, trying to get some wards up. Sometimes there's going to be a whole team there, sometimes there's not. And Liquid, in fact, they want more blood. They're smoking up.
This is one of the old concepts people used to talk about, the or the Earthshaker Veno.
Yeah.
It's one of the strongest level 1s, because if you get like a multi-hero Fissure into a multi-hero Gale, the fight's so hard to take. Scale is so devastating early on.
If they hit this Gale, it's going to be another kill. Surely. I mean,
They're actually just
Paparazzi,
able to pressure with this try.
that Fissure clip, they would have got it.
So they're gonna be, seems like they're gonna do like triple solo lanes and just have the supports running around. That does seem like the plan coming out. But starting top right away, Paparazzi's actually able to claim the rune, and they're also looking like they're gonna be able to bring down my control with the stun and the Oracle setup from Fortune's End. And now Kuroki, the Orb of Venom. This is a Shadow Shaman.
Gee.
250 movement speed.
Yeah.
Eat the mango, and Kuroki is dead as well.
And not only getting that, I mean, down on Kuroki will hold on and be less safe. But he's got... At the same time, down bottom, Injuly and Matu. Injuly was actually able to take the bounty rune from the Void as well. Just sat on top of them, was quicker with the clicker.
Matu actually forced to skill time dilation too, so the stickies don't add up all the way to like 10 or something, because he had 5 or 6 on him at one point. So, alright, so they're going to start in that top lane. They're going to do like a pseudo try-aggressive for now. They don't really have a crazy amount of sustain between this lane. I don't imagine they'll stay up here too long, but this forces reaction from IGV. They want to be able to... Their big hero in this game is the Sven, and they need to now pretty much have the Earth Spirit sit around him.
Look at this middle lane.
Mid.
Yeah, Miracle's playing very deep and aggressive here. Up on the high ground of IGV. See, just the level 1 on the Earth Spirit does only have the roll as well, so... You know, really until... Yeah, Cicada needs at least that level 2, and he hadn't quite had it, so yeah, not really a lot the dogfights could do in terms of ganking.
It is one of the best like kill kind of setups, right? You just get a roll and you put the Spirit Siphon, and you have pretty good kill potential on most heroes. But yeah, Miracle is just dominating the mid lane right now. 7-1, having that Fort Spirit out early.
Getting the pressure back in onto Cicada. But yeah, so I guess what... Putting the 3 heroes up there, they just really want to, as you say, force the supports to remain on this top lane, away from being able to gank Miracle, and at the same time try and slow down Paparazzi, make sure that he doesn't get those crucial first couple of items like we saw him do last game. Even though he didn't have the most amazing time in the lane, he still got those treads in the Mask of Madness, and as we saw, you know, they didn't win the game, but the Sven at the end of it all was still pretty farm.
Yeah, I think the idea for them is it's like a triple kind of reason that they're doing it. It's to pressure the Sven, to make the supports kind of stay up there.
Yep.
But then also, Venomancer, he can jungle, but that's not where he wants to be with the type of playstyle they're doing here. They don't have anywhere he can go if he's not in that lane, so they have to start the try there. So we do see rotation bottom. Yeah. Dogfight's trying to set up now for Matu.
They have a good chance of it here. If they can connect the roll after that first jump, with the stacks building up, Matsumba Man, he may be dead here. Angelai's taking a lot of punches from the tower. They get the kill. GH will be able to make sure that Angelai is punished. Let's see if he can get dogfights as well out of this one with the Sunstrike. That's going to do it. Miracle picks it up. So they lose Matu, but Liquid, they do make IG Vitality pay for it.
Super worth it, yeah. it actually, like, GH coming in and getting the experience for the kill on the Batrider is amazing, but then he also gets the experience from the secondary game, but also Miracle gets it. So that's like a huge win for them coming out in this early start. Top lane, KeyArena being isolated. Looks like he's gonna get the TP out though, but the neutral creep it switches and kills him. He pings it too, he's like, what? He had the Fairy Fire. If he had Fairy Fired pre-TP, he would have maybe actually lived there, but
didn't expect
he didn't expect that. The Hellbear Smasher just walks up and kills him. But mid lane now, the rotation from Dogfights, we were distracted. But the roll, the smash, and the Spirit Siphon easily able to bring down Miracle, who was playing on the opposing high ground.
Poor old Current. But yeah, as you said, you know, with that in regards, even though the lane, you know, as we've seen, Miracle's been keeping it constantly up on the high ground of IGV. You know, Cicada being a Death Prophet has been able to keep up and keep the lead with the CS, thanks to the Crypt Swarm, just being able to deal with that pressure that this Invoker puts on in the laning stage. So, starting to see, yeah, the real strength of this pick in this mid lane.
Pretty interesting how this matchup now works too, because we've been seeing the rise of the double nulls on the Invokers and a lot of the int heroes, while the Death Prophets, a lot of time, I don't really see them always go for the double null. Sometimes they do, but Cicada this time is just going for the phase boost, so he actually has quite a lot less damage than the Invoker does.
And top lane, to be fair, you know, they see the Venom, they see Mind Control, and this time he was on his own. He didn't have KeyArena that too close by in the neighborhood, and GH is on his walkabouts with the rotations. So IGV themselves just noticing the opportunity to make that sort of a jump without any sort of return being threatened by Liquid.
Yeah, Liquid's just doing the rotations now. And okay, KeyArena actually gets spotted placing down that high ground ward, but Dogfight's placing an early Obs ward in the mid lane for that first night rotation. Bottom lane in July, GH and Matu were trying to get aggressive on him, but able to just Firefly away.
I will have a Fisher in a couple of seconds, but yeah, GH has to be careful. A Flame Break to knock him back as well means that there's no chance he can quite close the gap for getting both of his spells on target.
Liquid still has a walking courier. Oh, there we go. KeyArena was quite broke. Still no boots. Gotta get the first set of wards and the upgraded courier.
They're looking towards mid, the two of them. This is going to yet mean again that Mind Control is alone up on the top lane. Could be vulnerable if IGV catch wind of this. IGV themselves do have... They have dogfights looking towards the middle lane, but it's going to be a hard play to make with GH and KeyArena both backing up Miracle. Keeping that Invoker safe. Bottom lanes continue to just pretty much be fairly even in terms of trading between the two. 21 and 4 on Matu in July, 20 for 4. Is this kind of expected, or did you expect one of these to sort of break away in the 1v1?
I thought in July would actually be a little bit more ahead than this, especially with the rotation coming out. But he did die once, and then GH rotated down as well, so that can definitely put a bit of a factor into it. And I think, like, overall, I think Matu is a bit of a more, like, a better laner, but I guess maybe also the risk as well is, like, you playing in the off lane, you don't have good vision on the side there. One rotation from a Shadow Shaman, you can pretty much just die. So maybe a little bit of fear coming into him.
I've got Dogfights coming back over. He's now got level 3 on the Earth Spirit, so definitely kill potential if Matu was out a little too far. Dogfights actually going to get wind of GH coming back into his own jungle here. Not quite enough damage to play around with him fully, and Dogfights will keep his distance.
You gotta watch out. Whenever the Earthshaker's like running around like that, it's not just a Shaker. The Sunstrikes are always possible to come in, and he has the chain stun to be able to land those. So always gotta add that extra damage in before you try to make any aggressive play on a Shaker.
Yeah, some TPs to mid now from IGV as they bring Super across. Maybe ready in case Miracle starts to go in again. And as we've seen, Miracle likes to play this mid lane very aggressively, coming up to the high ground time and time again. This time, Dogfights will come with the smash. Cicada tries to go for the Siphon, but immediately has to back off. Jackal will connect from KeyArena. Not quite enough of the duration there to allow GH to get in with the aftershock from the Enchant Totem.
Bit of split decision there. GH throws the Fissure left for the Earth Spirit. KeyArena was trying to get the grab on him, but just not able to get in range. But you can see the plan that now IGV was trying to do. They're trying to just give Sven solo experience, solo everything, and get their stacks going. Actually missed the Ancient stack when they used the Shrine there, but they're sitting around the mid lane still trying to secure Cicada and try to get those kills on Miracle, but it's under a ward. Liquid sees everything that's happening here.
So, yeah, as you mentioned, it's just going to be so hard for IGV to get that surprise play out.
And now it becomes really scary. If you don't kill the Invoker, if he's not in a very bad position, now you have to watch out, because Void is 6. If you make a play too aggressively, you can just get counter-initiated so hard by a Chronosphere, and that's absolutely devastating. Paparazzi gets brought down by the Sunstrike combo with this Shaker.
In July wants to go in from the sidelines with this lasso.
He's got a Dust too, so he isn't really trying to look for... They really want They really want Miracle dead. Bringing 4 heroes mid and a dust committal that early from a Bat Rider from the offlane, that definitely is a telltale sign, if anything.
Yeah, Miracle, of course, just backing away from the lane into the side jungle. Making sure that he's very hard to catch. And yeah, at the end of the day, these 4 heroes from RGV hovering around mid, it's not really getting a lot done.
No.
This is a fair bit of time wasted from RGV.
And my control is just like, okay, thank you. I'm just going to siege your top tower, and he's going to be able to bring it down extremely quickly here. It's almost level 6, on his way to level 7. See IGV now go for the smoke. They know Miracle's jungling.
They've got to get this. They've spent so much time looking for him. And with a lasso, they should have a good chance. Out comes the Ghost Warp, and indeed in July.
Who's that? Okay, he dog fights.
I was going to say, I looked at the bat, I was like, where's his dust gone? And then he's giving it over, but there, potential's he's still in the Firefly. I don't know if they can save Miracle here. He'll try and turn and drop something, but he gets nuked down by the Purifying Flames. They've lost one. So, despite, I mean, Matu came in with the greatest of intentions. I don't really know if there was any sort of play that could have saved the Miracle's Invoker there. But at the least, it looks like they're able to turn it around and get a few kills out of it. They're taken down 2. Cicada's coming back in, though. Does have the Ghosts out. Matu with the Time Walk is stuck in the trees, cuts his way out of it. In July, getting ticked down, though. That's going to be a 3rd really in succession there for the side of Liquid. Cicada, though, himself will find a 3rd in return as he finds Kuroki. He's looking to try and chase down Mind Control with the Siphon, but the slow from the walls causing issues. He'll now just go for the straight TP out, but he's not going to make it in time. GH literally only just hit 6, but that was enough to have that instant cast point of the Echo Slam, proccing the Aftershock, cancelling the TP. I think if he didn't have that, the Enchant Totem may have been too slow with the cast animation, but nonetheless, he has the ult, gets it out, and they do get the Death Prophet as well at the end of it also. A bit of a scrappy fight, but I think at the end of it, it doesn't quite record it. I think Liquid did end up losing 3 heroes. Vitality losing 4, and Vitality definitely the ones that seem to commit more to that. You know, that's them dropping the Ghost, going for a kill. The tier 1 is still at great health, so now they're going to have this time where they can't take any tier 1 towers with the Ghost.
Yeah.
Liquid are going to be fine with this, I think.
I think that they're very happy with that, yeah. I mean, it was the first Chronosphere used, and Matu didn't get like good damage like coming into it there, but he ends up surviving the whole fight. GH as well, we see the Earthshaker with Arcane Boots halfway to a Blink Dagger as a 4 Earthshaker. It's pretty damn impressive. And you can just feel that IG they feel pressured by this Invoker. That movement right there, just like that, like breathes pressure. They're like, what's happening? We have to make sure to gank Miracle. We need to blow so many resources, and Liquid comes out ahead. So definitely painful thing there for IGV. What was the Oracle during that? Was he just farming top?
No, he was in it. He got the first kill on the he got the Purifying Flame Duke, but then he did die.
He died, and he was just... That fight went on for like almost a minute, so he did respawn and go back top.
Yeah, I think it was like the first death on RG.
Yeah, that's right. I do see it now. Yeah, Matu ended up cleaning him up there. Bash. The 1-1-4 build by Matu in that fight there too. Invoker got the Alacrity on him, so he had a bit of bonus damage in it, but...
We're actually bringing Paparazzi in at this point. Towards Kuro. I mean, they will get the Shaman at least. They'll want to get more, though. At least a tower out of this committal of the God Strength. They've got the bottom wave pushing in, and looks like Liquid will just let them have it. Matu TP's out. Does have the Chrono back up, but with no Echo, and obviously at this point Miracle's still focusing on trying to get the Midas done. They don't really want to react to that sort of play too much, so Paparazzi, by the looks of it, will be left on his own to push down this tier 1. Fortification comes out, the rest of IGV themselves actually heading back towards the middle lane.
Mind control, getting surrounded.
He's very deep here, will pop out the ult. He managed to get the connection onto 3 heroes, so a good ult in respect to that. The smash and the silence coming out to Matu, trying to get himself away from the Siphon. There's the Fissure to hold them back. The Chrono comes in. Can they actually kill off Cicada? They do. They just have enough damage as the bash comes through from Matu, but instantly Super just turns, nukes down 1. In fact, Super, he claims a 2nd as he gets himself in the false promise. He's almost certainly going to die after the duration of it, but at least he brought down a couple of heroes with him. The team won't mind that at all, but at the end of the day, it is the mid laner going down.
And Exorcism got used.
And Exorcism getting used again, so they got the tier 1 bottom. Paparazzi did finish it off, but obviously that meant he really wasn't in position to get involved with the team fight. He just continues with the farm, heads straight back up to the top lane.
It's just not the ideal usage of your Exorcisms.
Yeah, you're not playing this game out how you want to as a Death Prophet at the moment.
Top lane, Liquid just being very quick with their movements. They have the Echo Slam ready. GH is trying to set up for it. It's on the creep wave too. Sunstrike follow up. Mind control is there. Do they have enough to finish off Paparazzi? He does not have a TP.
Maybe if he had a TP, he could have had a chance of getting out. He's going to be backed up by Super, and in fact, that will be enough with the heals.
Yep.
They do keep Paparazzi alive, so in terms of using ults to not too much affect. GH, of course, now without that Echo Slam for 2 minutes. But you definitely can't blame him for going for that. He sees the Sven, knows that he's going to have a good chance. Just so happened to be that Super was in the neighborhood. As we've been seeing, I'm pretty impressed with Super's play so far.
Yeah.
He tries to go for the setup onto mind control, but the backup is there for the Shaker. But Super's 4-2-4. He's been doing a good job with the kills securing with the Purifying Flames. But it's been necessary. You know, these are kills that he's not stealing. They're only getting these kills because he has that high nuke damage.
I mean, that's what an Oracle should be doing.
Yeah.
Not every time with the Purifying Flame, but last hitting is usually pretty fine on that hero with that type of situation. You do need some items and some kill skills. It's alright. It's alright.
Now we're going to see GH. Decent timing on the blink, 13 minutes, ready to
He's
go.
already got it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty. That's
exactly.
really damn fast.
I mean, look at the net worth difference between him and the Death Prophet.
I mean, him and the Bat. He's ahead of Bat Rider.
Yeah, he's up there. Sure, that's actually something. You know, I say that as if the Death Prophet's not doing great. It's not that. It really is just the GH is having a great time. I mean, he's 1-0-6.
Been involved in like majority of the kills. He survived all the long engagement in the jungle too. Got early arcanes. This is just the dream for him.
So mind control on his own a little bit, and you go pop the ult out, but there's no escape for this Veno. In July, and Paparazzi surround him and will take him down. So, I mean, I guess sometimes it's expected as a Veno. You're going to put him in a lane, he's going to push it out.
He'll die.
Sometimes he's going to get
Sometimes he's going to get caught.
And now, well, potential turnaround here. There's going to be the roll forward from Dogfights. They'll turn around with the stun. Matu jumps forward, and he should be able to find the Earth Spirit. The question is if they can get anything more. That fish is sort of blocking off Liquid from initially being able to go up for more.
Liquid initially used their chrono there to jump the Death Prophet, but Super was behind just false promises right away, and it's a big awkward engagement. So Shadow Shaman Wards used to kill the Earth Spirit, not necessarily on a tower, but kills a kill, saves Kuroki too. He's he's usually pretty liberal with the way he uses his ultimates since he's a 5.
I mean, seen both teams have been this game. Yeah. Just throwing it out in any sort of chance that they feel that they can't get a kill. And
ooh, we got a lot of blink daggers.
We have.
Out.
What was that on the Sven in the Bat?
Yep. So we should see a smoke coming up for them right after this one. Try to keep that aggression going. They do have tier 1 mid that they could go for. Death Prophet's already kind of pushing that one forward. So maybe they'll smoke and try to go for a wraparound on that mid.
here as well. They could risk trying to take it there. I mean, there's no warp coverage at the moment for Liquid. We'll see if they do just ignore it. But getting that on Paparazzi could be nice. Yeah, he's taking it. He's taking it. Here we go.
They actually make their way bottom. They see GH.
Well, they're kind of back and forth. They go bottom, they go top. They're kind of still deciding on it. It looks like they will settle on the mid lane.
Everyone from Liquid is there, though, but I don't think Liquid knows this is coming.
There's the jump. Oh, doesn't actually get the stun off in time. Kuro gets the chance for the Hex. It won't still be enough to save in those. Dogfights is there with the Boulder Smash. Super's actually there already, hiding in the trees with the wraparound. Holds GH in place, allows them to take another very successful smoke from IGV. They'll not only get the kills, they should have a good chance of finishing off this tower as well with a bit of time left on the Ghost.
Yeah, it was just ideal. Sccc was pushing mid anyway, so they were just like, this is perfect time.
I mean, Paparazzi can get more. He can maybe look towards Matu. He still has the God Strength available. He's going to go for it with the time walk he used. Oh, he needed that Boulder Smash to connect. He needed that Boulder Smash to connect. That would have been a kill, but it was slightly off the mark, and because of that, Matu gets away. That's gotta hurt. That was a surefire kill if that connected.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dogfights with an uncharacteristic misplacement there of his shot.
Just slightly too slow. You know, that slowness of the Boulder Smash there playing it the favor for Liquid.
Very important, because 9 times out of 10 Dogfights hits that. You know, he's, as we've been saying before the series, one of the best spirits in China.
Yep. During all this, Miracle slowly but surely just staying on the sidelines, farming it up. About to have Aghanims finished up, about 1,000 gold away. Same thing with Mind Control. Has the mech finished up, going into the Guardian Greaves to remove those silences. It's going to be very useful for his team. And just he can act as like that big frontliner now once he gets that those Guardian Greaves. That bonus armor will be very useful versus the Sven and the Death Prophet as well.
Yeah, definitely.
That's just actually a really good item this game versus Sven, Death Prophet, and the...
I was going to say, I always thought it was going to be the item he had to get first, yeah. As I said, just because of that sign. If he doesn't get off his ult in the fights, he's just a banana. It's like, he's useless, you know what I mean?
Hey, his wards still have some use to cancel blinks, but yeah.
I mean, sure, if he's got some down already, yeah, it's annoying, but yeah.
Dire does catch the scan. They know that Liquid's in the area, so Paparazzi instantly blinks out. That was an ancient stack that he had. That's pretty low. So Liquid now at least get a nice aggressive deep ward to be able to watch those ancients. Maybe they'll actually just steal those. Yeah, Kuroki's like, they're mine.
I mean, you said it. He's liberal with these wards.
I mean, he is. That is actually such a good example of the way Kuro plays his 5. When he used to play the CM a lot, he would just CM ult Roche. Because he'd be like, I'm not going to get a good freezing field off in a team fight. Similar situation.
It was still will never top that time when we saw the Warlock drop his chaotic offering on the Ancients. It was that joke. Good old Mitch.
Good old Mitch.
Remember Mitch, boys. Give him a Bible thumb. I don't. He's not dead. He's still around. But good old Mitch. That was the best ult usage I've seen on Ancients. This is pretty close.
Kuroki's getting like a triple stack. He farmed a double stack on the left side. And now he's farming another one.
I love it.
That was super worth it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, these ones are nice for the XP as well.
Yeah. And Liquid's all still posted up in the area. Saccada's actually walking up. The rest of his team is relatively close. Paparazzi's coming from the right side as well, so Liquid will actually back off. They're just going to wait for a miracle to finish up that Aghanims, which is coming on the courier.
Yeah.
And then they can start to take engagements because they have everything ready. This could actually just be a straight smoke from Liquid. We'll see one push bottom more than likely, and the rest of them smoke behind or to the side of him. Or maybe just a 5-man smoke and have... Okay, so they're going to send illusions to push out the lanes, and they're just going for a full 5 smoke. They're going to check out that Roche, check out the enemy jungle area.
This could be pain if GH gets a good job. I think out of all, good jump. I think out of all these, you're looking for GH to initiate, aren't you? I mean, extra time walk on Chrono's nice, but you want GH to kick it off with a good slam.
I mean, if they see the Oracle, if they see Oracle Abed, that's like the dream setup.
Get away with this. I mean, Liquid mass ping. They know that IGV's starting to push up this top lane. Sccc revealing himself. See whatever jump they can go. With the committal of the Ghost, they know that IGV are definitely going to have backup behind them. GH holding onto his spells at the moment. They're going to send Veno in. Mind control with the bait. He says, I'm a human ward. Goes in, drops down the ult, but already on the sidelines. They do get the lasso off. It's not going to be quite enough time to kill off Matsuma Man. Is already trying to turn. Will get the Earth Spirit. Sccc with the Ghost has already found 2. They'll drop down the Chrono, but that Chrono ain't helping them. That's an oh no. They've just lost 2 more to Sccc. Oh, Matsuma Man, he can't afford to commit the Chrono when Cicada's got the Ghosts out. As
they've got a dust.
They're all gonna die. Miracle held up in the air. Silence cut down. I don't know if he can play his way out of this one, and it looks like the answer is certainly not. But Liquid losing 5. And, I mean, we always knew it was going to be a hard game to find good usages of the Chronospheres, but as we saw then, you know, once Sccc has the Ghosts out, you just can't compete with the damage during the Chrono. A lot of the time we see Voids having issues with having the follow-up damage, and here we're just seeing not only having an issue with their own damage, but the issue that the damage that Vitality can throw into the Chrono is so much greater than that of Liquid.
Yeah. And it was just the way the fight was taken. IGV has a huge high ground advantage. Miracle takes the left route, so he's coming from the front from the tower, while the rest of his team's coming from the side. Mind Control just runs in to try to be the distraction, but they still find the target they need to. They get the instant lasso onto the Void. Yeah. Shaker gets a follow-up ultimate and everything, but they don't have damage inside of the Chronosphere afterwards, because Invoker's playing on the left side. Venomancer's already dead. I'm pretty sure Shadow Shaman died almost immediately right afterwards to the Ghosts. So fighting into that Death Prophet ultimate, if they don't get an advantageous vision or good wraparound, it's very difficult.
I mean, I'm looking at that fight, I'm just thinking, surely they just can't fight into Death Prophet ult at all at this stage.
If they can get vision, though, if they can get the initiation, if they can,
I don't know,
if they can kill the
so
Oracle,
hard.
It does seem very difficult
to go against Sccc at this stage, especially off the back of that fight, getting an ultra kill. He's going to get beefier and beefier once he has a BKB. Good luck with that. Yeah, they find him hiding in the trees down bottom. Tried to keep himself safe, but Sccc and in July again, more action for this Death Prophet as Sccc going ham 8, 2, and 5. It's pretty damn scary.
Uh-oh, mid lane too now.
Yeah.
Mind Control.
That's another one. Caught out by the boulder smash, taken down by the Sven. And, well, I say the Sven super, of course, there for the kill secure. He says, I'm the carry now, 6, 2, and 7 on this Oracle. Certainly, as we've been saying, that deserves. Yeah, this is an Oracle I wouldn't mind stealing my kills. He's been doing a lot for the team super this game. It's scary, and I think we're starting to see as well why Liquid may have been tipped off or known from scrims or whatnot to ban out the Death Prophet, because IGV seem to be super strong with running it.
Yeah, they're actually playing super well around it, yeah. I mean, you look at the last, like, 3-4 minutes, just that swing that's happening. It's almost an 8,000 experience swing and a 6,500 or 7,000 net worth swing. That's very substantial going into their favor. It was right when they got those, like, double blink daggers up. The Sven, the Bat Rider, they just able to take the proper fights and get that high ground advantage over Liquid. So Liquid definitely need to watch themselves where the fights are taken, because they lost a lot of their advantage there. Void now below Batrider, Venomancer, even Earthshaker, all of them chunked down.
I mean, I get kind of like in game one, it's sort of the opposite, you know. Even though Liquid are behind, they are definitely a side that has a wombo combo this time round. If Matu does get a good chrono and Invoker Miracle's allowed to lay down his combo, it's still going to do a lot. Obviously, it does depend on whether IGV get off their BKBs in time. Cicada nearly has his finished. He's just got to work through the remaining 50% of that Mithril Hammer. But once they have BKBs on those two cores, even that combo is going to be severely limited unless Liquid can get an incredible initiation.
Yeah, the BKB is going to be definitely very devastating.
Yeah.
Almost level 18 as well, so...
I mean, that in the zone is going to be scary. Ghost. Yeah, as you say, not just only doing good levels in terms of that, but overall, if we get to the point where it's 25... you do take the extra spirits, right, on the Death Prophet? Or do you times like 600 health is a lot.
I've seen...
With the chrono in the game,
I've seen both.
I've seen
it like just both. Yeah. It's like split down the middle, dead middle for that one.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, obviously we've got to get to that point, but I guess plus 600 health could be nice if we came out of lockdown.
Yeah, and when you're playing with an Oracle as well, like having 600 health plus Warcry as well, just like that's so much health. So Liquid looking to take this fight around the Roche pit. Paparazzi's already out of mana, but they do have the BKB finished up on him.
We're actually going to get the jump in from the sides as Injuly finds Matuma Man, drags him back. Can they kill him off in time? GH there, quick with the Echo Slam, jumps forward, but now GH himself surrounded, taken down by the Ghost. Cicada now on a wicked 6th streak. Paparazzi pops the BKB, forces Miracle to back off. Cicada just chasing down Mind Control. Sunstroke will be attempted from Miracle, but it's going to be off the mark. Mind Control being chased away from the pit. Should be taken down here as they'll get themselves another. Miracle comes back in across. They don't quite have vision upon him, so Miracle will still be safe for the time being. Same time up top, Kuroki went for the sneaky play, went up, dropped the wards, did claim the tier 2. If Liquid can get back in, despite being 2 members down, this could be strong. BKBs have been popped.
No exorcism, no god strength.
Yeah, IGV realize this though. They themselves are backing up. They know that they have to fight with these big ultimates. So at the end of the day, Liquid, you know, they lose a couple of lives, but they do get IGV away from the pit, and as we saw, you know, Kuroki does take a tier 2.
Yeah, it was a very scrappy kind of engagement. Like, there was an engagement happening on the right and an engagement happening on the left. Dogfights actually get super clutch silence coming out there for them to be able to clean up GH without having Matu get like a good setup for a chrono, so they actually thwarted could have been a pretty devastating fight for themselves there. And yeah, like you said, Kuroki doing that nice cheeky play top.
They get back in, that's the question. God Strength is back up, and here we go, straight down. Nice Fisher, though, coming out in time. We'll give Liquid the time to reset and get outside of the pit.
Everyone's respawned on Liquid here now, and Exorcism is still on cooldown for about 40 seconds. God Strength is halfway expended.
Oh, but they've got a good grab, though. The perfect jump onto Matt. Oh, the instant silence as well. GH tried to jump in to save, but just as the blink came through, he was silenced immediately. Couldn't get a single spell off, and that will seal the Roshan here for IGV. Liquid now with 2 down. Not a lot they can do to stop it this time round. Ages into the pocket of Paparazzi. And yeah, IGV is coming back in at the right time. Nearly was falling to the time there where it looked like Liquid were going to have another chance to reinitiate, but if they're getting that sort of jump onto Matuma Man, taking the Void out, meaning for the whole duration of that fight, there was just no chance for Matuma Man to use the Chronosphere. It's going to be IG's fight any day of the week.
He's really suffering to find those. It's this vision game. It's this vision advantage. It's being able to just jump in with the Batrider, find those clean initiations because of the ward that they have placed. That one ward right there, they're perfect. Fighting around the Roche pit, they get that deep one. That's one of those. This one around the Ancient is one of those. It's known, but it's not expected because you expect everyone else to ward that high ground, the natural high ground spot. So it's a very good ward placement for them to take that Roche fight. Bottom lane, Dogfights. Dropping down to the Fisher meatball.
That's something. And it's, you know, you can never write off a game where Liquid have Miracle on the Invoker. It's always going to come down to how can Vitality break high ground. They've obviously got great push, no doubt about it, with the Death Prophet and the Sven. But there's still tier 2s, there's still tier 3s, so despite the fact that IGV have this lead, again, definitely a game that one fight and that whole 4K gold lead can totally turn around.
Yeah, the lineup of Liquid scales super hard. Like Invoker and Void, their items just keep getting more and more and more powerful. Once Void gets like Manta and the Diffusal finished up, he doesn't have to worry so much about those silences and just getting picked off like that. He actually has his own save mechanic. And Invoker just becomes, of course, you know, an absolute beast when you get your level 25, you get your Octarine, etc., your Lincolns, you have actual saves. Kuroki.
No, he's kind of been left behind it.
Isolated.
Yeah, the rest of Liquid will get themselves out. KuroKy will not be as lucky. IGV take down the Shaman.
I mean, look how much. The thing is that KuroKy's actually doing very well this game too in his net worth. He's almost more than halfway to an Aghanim. That can actually have a pretty big factor into this game.
I mean, I've seen some clips where Aghanim Shaman really does do a hell of a lot of work. It's a lot of damage.
Yeah, it really is.
We've all seen the one where Jimmy goes and snipes the Ancient.
Yeah, that one
the
is
tier 4s. It's
classic.
ridiculous. It hits both tier 4s at the same time, right? Or something.
Yeah, it's a split shot, and they get the increased range.
Yeah.
It's a nice change. It's interesting to see that people go for it now.
Very good for the defense as well here, because I guess if you look, you've not really got the best heroes to man up and punch down the wards.
No,
I mean, yeah, it's not
Death
great.
Prophet. Sven, he can walk up, but Bo2.
Again, same spot. That ward's still there, yet to be dewarded.
That ward is winning them
so much. Yeah.
It's winning them in the last like 10 minutes.
It really has, and it's been ruining Matu's game.
I think they had another one placed in that area too, right before these fights happened.
I think they're the first one get dewarded.
I think the first one did,
and then they just moved
placed
the placement.
One. Yep. Yeah. Cicada now, Exorcism expended. It's about 3/4 of the way done. They'll be able to get a little bit of tower damage with it.
I mean, they'd love to try and force out the buyback, but only being down for 20 seconds, it's because of the low level he's at as well. In fact, overall hero levels, how's he sitting? He's down, and Matu is not getting much at all from this game. And you know, despite the fact that he had that solo lane at the start, it's really fallen apart from him. He's only level 14. He's less levels than the Oracle.
Yeah.
He's really struggling in experience.
Oracle gets an XP gain talent, right? We'll give it.
We'll give him that. Yeah,
20%. 20% can add up. No, but he's definitely having a rough game. We saw that, the one Chrono top was definitely a big example that he's not feeling comfortable in being like using his Chronosphere in those spots because it's tough engagements.
I think, it really feels like it's just the lineup of vitality. I mean, I wonder how many times has Matumbaman played Safe Lane Void when he's been against, Death Prophet and Oracle. I feel like that's maybe a couple of heroes that a lot of the teams that Liquid have played against in various lands coming up to this, they may not play a lot.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the silences are definitely something to be concerned about.
Yeah.
When you don't have, he's still working his way. He's far, far away from that Manta or that Linken's. He can switch to Linken's.
Has he? Okay.
He's trying to switch to Linken's. It's definitely needed versus the Batrider, the lasso, and the stuns that are coming out. But
and talking about concerned about silence, Mind Control knows what's up. He's got a Greaves and he's got a Yules.
Yeah, he doubled up.
Yeah, doubled up on the ability to remove it. Making sure that he gets off those ults as... They can certainly be pretty huge. Even if it's when you get the ult out and a lot of your team die, if you're able to bring down the opposing team at, pretty weak in terms of their health, it can put off a potential push.
Yeah, it can be pretty obnoxious. The thing is, Oracle's very good versus it.
True. Yeah, they're certainly got ways to buff him back up.
Yeah, negate majority of it, and with Fate's Edict being maxed, 7 second duration, no, 7 second downtime. So it's only 2.5 second downtime. So 7 second cooldown, 4.5 second uptime.
It's pretty crazy.
So a lot of magic damage being negated.
There we go. Ghost back up in 4 seconds. RGV saying they're ready to push in. All ults are available on Liquid.
Paparazzi's ready to just jump in though. He's got Orchid. Aegis does get reclaimed just now though. That may dissuade them from being over aggressive.
And in fact, as we're seeing in Mind Control, just landing down the Gale, it's pushing away the Death Prophet from the tower. So they are slowing this one down, Liquid. But again, Paparazzi's position is he's really making sure that he does not get caught out, and he is guaranteed that jump.
They're backing up. Yep.
They really are.
Swearing off. The Aegis was reclaimed too. Now they just need to finish up their items, get some buybacks going along.
I mean, I guess they realize they've got the lead. They don't need to throw it. They're not at the danger zone yet, where it's because of how far behind Matumbaman is. There's not going to be this point anytime soon where he is going to become the bigger late game force.
They don't see many people farming on the map either, so
but
they know
do
that
see Paparazzi.
She's able to slip away. They were hunting.
They
for
knew
him.
he was around in the neighborhood. Yeah, the ping's coming out of the trees, wondering if he blinked out and TP'd away. But yeah,
now they see him.
Move.
Yeah, they see him with the ward now back all the way up. 10k lead now for IGV.
Yeah.
15k experience lead. You said the Void only level 15. Everyone else on the side of IGV actually is almost higher level than him. It's just the Earth Spirit who's lower level than the safe lane carry of the opposing team.
Matu jumps in. Jumps on the Chrono. It is just on an Earth Spirit, and the save is there from Super. With the self-fuels up, I think Dogfights may live through the damage, even though Miracle tried to jump down the combo. They'll get the ultimate out to Paparazzi, but he popped the BKB in the God Strength, turns towards Miracle. Miracle kind of has to run in. They're trying to kite him out. They'll turn again. Paparazzi being brought down low. He can keep himself alive if he can get the lifesteal through. Gets the stun, but the ward from Mind Control will peep him down. Overall, well, they've lost one in return. They have lost Shaman. Get anything more? Liquid still sticking around. They'll find dogfights. And to be fair, even though it didn't seem like the best of Chronos, the fight ends up going their way.
And
get the massacre of the Sven, and again, he doesn't have buyback.
He finished the Bloodthorn. It's the same thing as the last game, right?
Same thing as last game.
This time it's not versus a battle trance and troll warlord though, so it's a little bit different. Liquid isn't able to force it as fast, but they do have a Alacrity. The Glyph is ready, but it's 45 seconds without a Sven. Sccc though, Exorcism online.
He's ready to go on the back of this. They got the silence onto Matuma, trying to man up with the bashes onto in July. Time walk down to the low ground. Looks like he'll keep himself distant from this. And with the cross coming out here, the wall onto Fisher. It looks like with that goes, so it'll be enough to keep them back, but they won't be able to catch Liquid and get any kills off the back of that push.
I think they're IGV super happy with that. It's an Exorcism used, but it's an Exorcism after he hits level 20, so he gets a 10% cooldown reduction, and he had the Octarine already. So it'll actually be coming online like much faster. I don't really see too many people get the cooldown reduction. I haven't seen a crazy amount of Death Prophet though.
Yeah, I guess, but I do 50 see movement speed is a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, I do see people go for both, but 50 is a lot. That hero's talents are hard to choose which one you really want. Because even like the 15 one, I've seen people go for the Crypt Swarm cooldown. Mostly I see the cast range, but you know, you have options. You definitely have options.
Hard
as
as well. I guess he went well for the cast range because landing the silence has been so crucial, and I guess it is really nice on Swarm.
I mean, it's... I personally like, and I've seen like a lot of people do like the cast range, but there are some people who having that Crypt Swarm being able to, when you have Octarine, it's down to like a 1.5 second.
I guess, but then at that stage, the damage from that is maybe not that crazy. I don't know, it feels like, you know, the Crit Swarm one obviously that benefits one spell, but cast range, that just buffs everything.
It's everything. I mean? It's all your items. It's absolutely everything. Yeah, that's why it's like... So it's good. He's got great itemization too with the Yule Solar Crest. The armor, everything's pretty much hit right on the head. How's our Miracle doing?
How's he got?
On his way towards Shiva's.
Very nicely. Oh, Midas. Come on, use your Midas then. Come on. Do a Midas. No, he was chilling in that one. He was like, I'm going to kill the small creep first.
He's focused. I mean, almost level 25.
Very close to 25.
I think he was buying his Shiva recipe too. He did bring it. So Matu actually goes for a
what's he got?
Shadow Blade instead of going for the Lincoln. So he's feeling like he just needs to be able to get into those backlines.
I mean, is there any sort of gem out yet on Vitality?
Yeah, in July.
They do. Okay, in July does have the gem. Okay. I mean, if they can get their hands on it, obviously that Shadow Blade is going to be nice. It's sort of like the oh crap, I got silenced. I got to walk out of it. You know, you can use it in that manner as well. But as you say, also just getting the jump is nice.
Yeah, getting the jump in the backlines, or maybe they're going to go for this type of mind control push top, right? Miracle push bottom. Try to catch Vitality when they're split off with these Shadow Blades, because it looks like GH also has a Shadow Blade in Q.
GH nearly getting caught out there. Just Lincoln 4 stuff out in time. Yeah, and I guess, I mean, Liquid are probably realizing as well that IGV's warding around the areas where they're fighting has been fantastic, so yeah, just having that method of getting into the vision without being spotted out initially,
And taking those straight 5v5 engagements is still very tough with like the Oracle in the back lines. There's two heavy frontline tanky people.
Yeah.
It's very hard for them to just straight up fight IGV still, even though they have a good chunk of damage. Invoker, level 24.
They are going for this, smoking up and going. I mean, but IGV are in a good position to hold it here as they'll jump forward. Mind Control looking to try and get in position for the ult. Will be Stormhammer. Matuma just goes straight in with the Chrono, holding the Oracle back. They've lost GH in return. Wards are now dropped. Mind Control does get popped in the pit, and IGV, they're not done yet. They're looking to chase for more up onto the high ground. Kuroki will hold back the Earth Spirit with the Shackle, but the Ghosts still go to work as Cicada takes them down. Matu and Miracle, the only two left alive on the side of Liquid, will find another. Can they get dogfights as well? Miracle starting to bring out the Miracle Show, cleaning up. I'm actually messing up the Deafening Blast timing there, but Matu will defuse off the Yule Scepter to get the kill at the end of it all. Miracle, can he save Matuma Man though? It's looking pretty grim. He's falling low. It's not enough to save him. That's going to be Matuma Man falling. Miracle, the last one alive. Can he really do anything about these two? He's still looking to play around with them. Paparazzi jumps forward, gets the Stormhammer connection. Shiva's Guard out in time from the Invoker. Miracle now turning, looking towards Paparazzi, ready to go back in. Silenced up. I mean, it's a long-ass duration on the silence. The Siphon attempted, but the Lincoln Sphere is there to block it. Set up again with the Meteor comes through. GH back in with the Echo Slam. They are going to get both of the cores. They'll take Cicada down, pop that Aegis. Shah's sliding forward, looking for dogfights. Does get the roll-off. Miracle and GH, can they take Cicada down a second time? He's got the BKB. Silence there onto GH. GH surrounded. Kuroki coming back in. Sunstrike connects onto both. There's the AoE Deafening Blast. The right-clicks fly up. Miracle, he is absolutely doing it here. He's taken down a second. He's not done yet. The BKB BKB wears out. They will disarm Miracle, but he still continues to flow out with these invocations, looking for more. KuroKy wraps around with the Hex, but the false promise is there just in time for Super to give Cicada a second chance. The Ghost back up, bringing Kuro down low. Injulize there on the high ground with a Flame Break will get KuroKy. Mind controls out. Miracle still around though. He wants to go back in. He gets vision just in time onto Super. Shiva's Guard connects. There's the Sunstrike. BAM! Miracle does it. Takes down another. Mega kill streak at the moment for Miracle.
Oh
going
my God.
absolutely ham here.
The Miracle shove.
It really is turning into it. He'll TP out. Put his hands in the air for the applause that he'll be getting from the crowd.
That was pretty impressive. And now Matu, oh, he goes for the chrono onto the bat, but bat with the gem, able to see him just before it hits, and he's able to blink out.
It's alright. We're not looking at Matu. We're looking at Miracle this game.
Miracle for days.
Miracle's covering up the Void performance.
Yeah. That was just sick the way that he like just stood
He
toe
just
to toe.
did so much on his own.
He knew God Strength was down. He knew the Exorcism was down as well. They were chasing him, and you saw that confidence. It's like as soon as they turned around, he was like, I'm definitely turning around on you guys. That quick tornado cooldown, even though he goes for the AoE Deafening Blast always because it's Miracle. His cooldowns are still great.
He's nearly got the Octarine. The cooldowns are going to be even greater then.
All eyes on
Use that Midas, sell
This
that
is what we were
Midas.
talking about, though, right? This is
why teams ban out
what it comes
Invoker.
down to.
Because you know what I mean? Like, say Miracle's on something else, so this game could be going pretty differently, you know?
Yeah.
But Matu just doesn't have the farm. Mind control as well. I mean, he has been getting the ults off, but every time, of course, he always dies. He gets the ultimates off, but there's no way that he can get himself back out. So he's feeding quite a bit in terms of value to IGV in these fights.
I think something cool to point out to some players too is that you see that Miracle this game, he went for the 30% experience. He knows his team was suffering, so he knows he needs to put a lot of work in, so he needs to hit that 25.
We're seeing pretty much that's like the majority now, though, isn't it? Don't they go for the 30%?
It's a variance. I think Sumail sometimes mostly goes for the Fort Spirit, but it's in those type of situations you want to be able to switch it up.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, like it just makes absolute sense why you're getting the XP this game, because your team really does rely on you to do so much. Even if Matuma was having a better game, he's still going to be relying on that follow-up to come in. And having that level 25, the full combo ready to go, that's what you need.
What's anyone else doing? Everyone else is kind of stagnated for the most part on Liquid. How does my control is? I mean, Matu's actually almost got his BKB, so he's switched his build around a lot. He's really just suffering dealing versus all those silences and disables. He doesn't even feel like the Manta's enough to deal with it, clearly. So going for that BKB. He has hit level 20, though, on the Void, finally. So he gets the 120 GPM, so the later and later this does tick on, he's going to be getting quite a lot stronger. And
that's a decent amount of GPM.
It is about breaking high ground. So breaking Liquid's high ground, like you said, it's still extremely difficult. So if they can keep taking this later and later, Death Prophet and Sven do hit a peak. Invoker and Void, they keep getting quite a lot stronger.
For sure. I mean, Miracle, you could argue that Miracle himself is going to hit a peak, but it's the fact that that peak is so damn high.
Big chrono now for Matu.
It is indeed. He catches out too. Miracle comes in with the combo. Meteor Deafening Blast, bringing the bat down. Paparazzi falls low. Does get the chance to put the BKB, the Ghost Trick. Looking for more into my man. Can he get it out? No, the Shadow Blaze there. Oh, the Ward Trap. KuroKy holds back the Sven. Jump forward from GH, bringing the Earth Spirit down low, but Super's there just in time with the save. Giving Dogfights a bit more time. Can he actually live through this? Trying to roll himself away, but the poison ticks him down. IGV lose to Super. Can he get out? Ooh, just in time, will escape. But again, Matu stepping it up there, hitting the chrono that they required. KuroKy with a sweet little ward block, making sure that Matu gets out as well. Liquid, they're chasing down, see if they can get some more out of this. There's Miracle, he's coming from the backside. He's silenced up, but it doesn't matter. He's still punching as he flies out the magic. Now with the shackles locked down onto Cicada, they'll get themselves another. He can use himself up, but Matu brings him back down with the Diffusal Blade. And this game is looking to start to severely go back in the direction of Liquid.
The swing is real. Look at that, the last 10 minutes, about 10,000 plus gold swing now. Miracle just coming in super clutch. Matu though as well, hitting that absolutely perfect chrono. They needed that.
I mean, that's the thing with the Void, isn't it? It doesn't matter how your game's going as long as you hit that chrono.
Yep.
That's all you need with a team like Liquid.
That one was like everything kind of falling into conjunction perfectly. The Ward Trap from Kuro, Matu was at like 100 HP. He was about to tick out from the Bloodthorn, and then the Guardian Griefs from Mind Control takes him back up, and now he's full health, and now this is them again. Rax and a huge advantage. 40 seconds on Sven, 60 on Death Prophet. This looks like it could actually be an easy 2 sets.
There's no buyback. It may even be more than that. They could get a third set out of this. Unless they want to play it safe. We'll see how they want to do it. I mean, Matu, they've got the chrono back up in a couple of seconds. They're sticking around, I think.
Why don't they have buybacks again on these heroes?
IGV
this happened the last series too. The Sven didn't have buyback, and now this time he bought Boots of Travel. so he didn't have buyback, and I think
Envy?
I think he bought Shiva's as well on Death Prophet. He finished up his item before he died. So yeah, they have no buy. They're actually just getting Mega Creep because not having buybacks.
And there we have again. There's the jump forward. Matuma Man will drop down the chrono, pulling IGV apart. Super keeping himself alive. Paparazzi back in on this one. Super does hold one back, but it's not enough to keep himself in the game as Veno ticks him down. Kuroki's drop wards on the tier 4s. Paparazzi heads over to clean them up, but it's going to be Liquid cleaning up the bottom racks. GH actually shadow blading. Coming back in on this one, teasing around with the idea at least. The ults have been used, so it looks like Liquid will now back themselves up, but they've got themselves the Mega Creeps.
I can't believe that just happened again.
IGV, they'll get mind control. Well, I said they get mind control. They could have had to put a bit of work in on them to it his. He's got the Yule Scepter. The Fisher come through, they're not even going to get mind control. He's fine.
They
but
might get him
now,
eventually.
they'll get him eventually, but he's certainly making them work for it. I mean, finally there with the stone connection. They had to pot the God Strength as well, just to make sure they finally get rid of that pesky Banana Man. And Matu, he's camping the fountain.
He buys a Dagon.
Oh.
And now he's getting... you know, that's actually...
That's what you get if you camp the fountain, ladies and gentlemen. That is a lesson for you boys and girls. Don't be a douche. Don't fountain camp.
Don't fountain camp.
Don't fountain camp.
But I actually just can't...
Because you might... Imagine if that froze the game. He's down for 70 seconds without buyback.
No.
If they just push mid and end.
Okay,
he's got ghost.
All right, well...
If he's just thrown the game... No, surely not. I mean, Miracle's still alive.
Miracle's alive. He's 6 slotted as Miracle with a refresher. Like, I think they're going to be able to hold. The side lanes are going to push it naturally. Mega Creeps are still such a devastating thing to deal with.
You don't think there's a chance they could just close it in 50 seconds?
No.
That would have been pretty grim for Liquid.
I think it's too scary too. Like, Kuroki's got Aghanims. What if he just bots into the base and he just kills stuff?
It's just messing around with his illusion. Yeah, come on. There we go.
Oh, I mean, like, honestly, the IGV is probably they're probably kicking themselves in the butt right now, being like, I can't believe we just don't have buybacks after having such a good game. They actually just lose a succession of 6 Raxes like that. That's a big mistake for sure.
I feel like he was cleaning out the bottom lane and the neutral camp. So why is he not in the mid lane? Get him in the mid lane. He's got DD. Push down mid. Matu's no buyback. I guess they didn't know that Matuma Man has no buyback.
I think they're probably like they're probably having the same discussion where they're probably like, I can't believe we just did that. Like they're probably just stuck in their heads right now because that's what it looks like. Paparazzi literally just went to pretty much that the thing when you go into the back of your head when you're just like, I'm just gonna go farm because something bad just went happen completely and I don't know what kind of happened in the game. Like you lose your entire feel of everything because they were in a perfectly fine spot. Like you look at the net worth and it's literally in a succession of like 3 minutes. It's a 15,000 gold swing. Just because I know Broncos.
Boy. Liquid back up. Matuma Man, he's joining the ranks again.
Matu sold his Dagon. Bought a Dagon.
He was like, let's not be silly.
And sold it right away.
Let's not be silly.
He shouldn't be. He really shouldn't be at this stage. I mean, I don't know if it was him who probably just decided to sell, but his teammates were probably like, dude, come on. It's not just about respecting them, but I mean, sometimes things could happen. Something devastating could go wrong. We're not leading this game entirely.
I mean, that's the thing. Dagon's not even good this game, is it?
No, it's a void. It's a void. You should never know.
There we have it. Aegis into the hands.
Cicada.
And he's got BKB still.
Trying to bait it.
We'll see if they can force it out of him. Nice self-heals there to dodge the EMP. Already on the back lines though. Mind Control and Matuma Man have found the Oracle. Hex and Shackles there in time. Oh, Oracle does get the false promise off. Could be pretty big here. Cicada gets off the Ghost as well. There's the lasso holding Miracle in place. They gave the Aegis, of course, to Matuma Man, so Miracle is not going to have that second life. He's down for 99 seconds. It's his turn to be without, but what is it with pro players and not saving for buyback today, Fog? We're seeing it a few times. Matu will clean up a second at least, but IGV still have Cicada and Paparazzi alive, and there's no mind control or...
Oh, Matu trying to bait the gem.
They may just get in July. They do. Gems on the decks, but Cicada, can he punish this? Comes forward. Kuroki's like, I will take the gem! But he's not getting away with that one. Paparazzi slams him down.
He knew he was dead. But
maybe they're going to get the gem after all. What? Oh, GH!
Oh, no, he went back in.
No, Gem, would you pick the gem up and jump back in? Oh, GH! Oh, GH!
Still alive? He's got Shadow Blade in one.
He's not. Oh, GH gets himself. He's not going to go back in.
Matu's trying to go back. They're trying to go back.
He's going to go back in.
Oh no, there's a sentry there.
Oh no, come on, Matu, not to the sentry. The Fisher. Could it save him? It will.
Come on, guys.
Oh, Paparazzi doesn't have any vision on himself. Okay, now
no,
he's seeing this. He's got the Bloodthorn and the Stormhammer. It's only the Aegis, though. Both the Aegis. Meanwhile, of course, they are losing tier 4, so having a bit of trouble at home, actually. But, alright, it's getting a little clowny here. But at the end of the day, GH holds on to the gem. He keeps it. He's got a Silver Edge done as well. Why not? Regen rune as well. iOS Frog on his side.
That was a clutch false promise there by Super. He was.
I can't believe he got it out.
He was dying.
Yeah.
He was literally about to die, and he gets it off on
out.
Cicada. So that actually won them that entire engagement because they weren't able to chain CC Cicada before the Exorcism comes out. And Miracle not having buyback, so slows Liquid down for a bit. But yeah, it's still mega creeps, so they still have a massive amount of momentum.
Yeah.
But yeah, about a 5,000 gold swing for IGV there.
At least you got a Sven, you know what I mean? So, but it's a decent way to push these waves out. The rest of the team's kind of struggling a little bit with these stronger creeps, but Paparazzi can deal with it.
Yeah, it's just Paparazzi.
Oh, I don't know if you know. Did you know this as well with Sven? He's gone for the Stormhammer cooldown.
Been seeing that a lot more often.
We were seeing that coming into play just now.
Yeah.
I get it, but as we've seen with those last few fights, just having that. I mean, what does it bring it down to? Yeah, 5 seconds.
5
cooldown.
seconds. Yeah, we've been seeing actually a lot of people doing that one now instead of the 6. You already have your damage for the most part as a
Sure,
Sven.
that's true. You've already got damage.
So it's about not getting kited, and what helps you not get kited is if the enemy's, of course, stunned. So. Makes sense.
Seeing Liquid getting themselves back into position to try and push forward again. In July, getting swagged on there by GH and Miracle. That's going to be without the Bat Rider for 80 seconds. Again, sidelines, but Man drops the Chrono, finds Dogfights. That's going to be a second down. They're now down 2. Cicada saved just in time with the false promise, gets the ghosts out. But this is fine. Liquid wanted to do that. They wanted to poke out the ult, poke out the BKB. Talking about ults getting dropped down. Paparazzi in trouble outside of the base. Does have buyback. He is going to be back for round 2 on this one. He's still without 2 of his teammates, but Man pots the BKB, goes for the retreat, knows to be aware of Paparazzi with a potential stun. Sentry not quite having the range there to get the vision on GH as Paparazzi throws out the Stormhammer, but it does not make the connection. He'll look towards Miracle, tries to get the side stun off the Forge Spirit, knowing that Miracle had that Lincoln Sphere. Was unsuccessful as Miracle, a little too quick. Off the back of that Ghost Walk
Liquid's
exit,
around him.
Yeah, they're pushing back in now. Paparazzi, no BKB, gets hexed up now with the BKB on cooldown. Cicada does have his own, will land the silence onto Miracle. They're going to stun onto Man. They've got the root as well. Have they got the damage? No, not quite enough. Man able to time warp back out. Paparazzi jumps in with the Bloodthorn, should be able to punish Kuro at least, but they've lost the tier 4. The Mega Creeps really coming in as they're swarming up IGV. There's the jump forward again from Man, looking for the bashes on Super, isn't going to quite get it. Yule's up onto the Death Prophet, keeping him alive, duking out the EMP. The Octarina heal certainly helping out, but Paparazzi is out of mana. No chance to throw out any more Stormhammers. They will hold by the looks of it for a little longer, IGV.
Matu is going to get lassoed. He should be able to get brought down for reason.
They are holding Fog, but can they really do anything to stop this inevitable ending?
It doesn't look like it. That was the
It's
Sven
so
buyback,
yeah.
and that was the refresher from the Death Prophet as well.
Okay.
The next push should look to be Liquid's time to end it. All the buildings actually are dead except for the throne. So there's no creeps, nothing to tank inside of the creeps. And I believe the Venno hit level 25 too, so we have those 3x Plague Wards.
Oh, he's got cheese in his pocket as well, mind control.
Yeah.
Every chance to live and get that ultimate out in the midst of it all. Miracle himself, of course, with his own refresher, ready to go back in.
Arcane rune too. Arcane and a DD.
My goodness. Not something you want to see in the hands of a level 25 rune. If you're the opponent, so if you're Liquid, you're pretty happy.
They're definitely feeling great. Yeah. They're probably lost of words as well. So, yep, IGV just locked in their base. Just trying to defend against those Mega Creeps while Liquid trying to press a little bit more of their advantage. Even Kuroki's like, you know what, I might as well just farm some neutrals. He might be able to get a refresher as well, and that's when they just 100% close it out mid lane.
Oh yeah, GH, he's just playing around with Cicada. Put with the blink as well. Nearly didn't make it there. That crit swarm connected. Could have been in trouble. GH, he knows what he's doing. Right.
It's so hard to keep the lanes pushed out, though. It's like impossible for IGV to really do it properly. Sven's the only one who can do it in a great fashion. But Miracle's just set up bottom now, trying to go for pressure on him.
They have got a grab here. It is Kuroki, but indeed he's going to be home where the help is needed. Paparazzi pots the BKB. TP starting to come through. GH jumping in, and that is going to be Paparazzi going down. Definitely blast flies through. No buyback on the Sven. In July, he is gone as well. Oh, I say that. He's got false promise, but I don't think it matters as the rest of Liquid turn towards the Ancient. Fortification will come out, but can IGV really hold without Paparazzi in the game? That is the question. Miracle picks up the double kill as he takes down the bat, and GG is called. It's finally over as Liquid can close it up and will open up TI's run with getting a 2-0 victory against IGV.
Who looked pretty good.
IGV looked really good. It was just
similar. It was actually the exact same thing as the last game. They had a
buybacks.
great kind of mid game, and then toward the end of the mid game, they make like 1 or 2 massive, devastating mistakes, and Liquid capitalizes on it. So good for Liquid, but IGV definitely has to go back and look up with a little bit more patience into these games.
Absolutely. Well, don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have more action right round the corner. Our series will end Liquid 2-0ing IGV. Don't go anywhere. Myself and Fog will be right back.